Hallelujah. Are you guys happy to be here? Amen. Amen. I'm just a guest here, just so you know. I'm a guest up here, so I'm not the speaker. I was kindly forced to be here. All right, we're going to pray to start. And I know it's going to be a wonderful time. Those are eyes. Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for the opportunity given unto us, O Lord, to be here tonight and to learn from one another. And we know, Father, that with you all things are possible. And you yourself, you said, you reject your own people because they have rejected to know. And we gather here to learn, in order, Father, so we can gain the knowledge that we need in order to better ourselves. We thank you. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Amen. Before we start, I want to say this. Nobody was born with any type of knowledge, or no one was given a manual when you were born, how to raise children, how to treat a husband, or how to treat a wife. Some people gather information along the journey. Some people read. And some people were given a gift to know what to do. And that's the reason one of my motto that I've learned from everyone and everything, to build my own. So through learning, you can build whatever you want to build. Anything in life. If you see something you want, learn from it, learn about it, in order to reproduce your own. And we're here and to share with you, do we know everything? No. Guess what? There are things you know we don't know. So we're going to talk together and share with one another, and we're going to learn from one another. Amen? All right, God bless you.
Amen. Well, we want to thank everyone for being here. We really appreciate your presence. And as you all know, last time it was my husband that did it all. But, you know, it's nice to also hear everything from a woman's point of view. But tonight, as he says, he was kindly forced to be here. I don't like to do anything by myself, you know, because I no longer am by myself. Amen? Yes. So that's one thing we need to have also, you know, in our community, where we need to do things more together, because whatever you have that is beautiful, you don't want to hide it, right? You want to showcase it, you know, and you want to do things together and, you know, just show what God gave you. Amen? Amen. So before we dive into it a little deeper, we want to welcome you all to How to Keep Him or Her Without Compromising Part 2. I'm going to allow Apostle to just, you know, just kind of talk just a little about the things that he had mentioned last time, just a little bit, and then we'll go a little deeper with things.
Last time we kind of talked about a man without vision, and plans would never have a stable relationship. A man without vision and plans will never have a stable relationship. If you're a man, you don't have visions, you don't have plans, your relationship cannot be stable. Because as men, you're a leader. You're supposed to lead this relationship. So where are you leading this relationship to? And I mean, I really want you to think about that. Because you're supposed to lead your wife towards something. And even scripture says without prophetic vision, the people are cast astray. When there's no vision, everyone is doing whatever. So sometime in the relationship, I counsel people and I realize The problem is simple. There's no vision. That's why there's so many trouble. They wake up, they're fighting each other because nobody knows what they are doing. Monitor down, please. Monitor. So nobody knows what they are doing. And because of that, it creates a problem in the relationship. A man always ought to have a vision. If you're a man here, you have to have a vision. You're supposed to be able to tell your wife, this is the plan I have in my mind. Guess what? Is it mean that the plan's going to work? Is it mean it's very accurate? You may have to change it later on. But at least there has to be some type of plan comes from you. The plan doesn't come from your wife. Can you put the monitor down a little? There's a feedback in monitor 1 and 2. All right, thank you. So, it's not your wife that come up with the plan. You have to have a plan for the family. Amen? And we also explain how the woman is a suitable helper. And we talk about this a lot, a suitable helper. So just because if the woman is not a suitable helper to you, probably that's not your woman. Because the woman that God will give to you, she will be a suitable helper, someone that's helping you fulfill what you need to fulfill. Does that mean the woman doesn't have plans, doesn't have dreams, is only there to help a man? No, that's not what it means. Because the leader, your husband, is there as well to support you, to help you fulfill what you need to fulfill. Because everyone has desires, everyone has callings. But I firmly believe that God placed a woman to be a suitable helper to her husband because the two complete each other. There's a side of the man that is missing that the woman has, and that the woman can help you with it, believe it or not. And she called a suitable helper because she was not the leader. You are the leader. Doesn't mean she doesn't have dreams or vision. There are people, or I should say there are men, they have all type of plans, but they never allow the wife to dream as well. They never said to know, what do you want to do? What is your plan in life? What is your vision? I'm going to tell you this very honestly, and I'm going to take the example on me and my wife. In ministry, when we started ministry, I spent a lot of time in church, in ministry, a lot of time. And I can be in this church all day. To me, that's my favorite, that's my playground. And, but in the beginning, she used to be home. I'll be in the church, she's home. And I realized she doesn't like to be alone by herself. And then I told her that, remember, I told you, when I leave work, I'm still going to be working. But not with people, but with God. Although we had the plan, I told her the plan 500 times over the years, but I realized she's still not kind of happy. I'm like, what's wrong with the woman? I thought we talked about this already. But what I didn't understand is because I never bring her into the plan. You understand? I want her to accept what I'm doing. So what is she doing? Just sitting here watching kids? Think about it. How would you feel? And I never put myself in her position. I'm just out, and then she's just home, and I'm expecting her to understand. I come home, she's supposed to smile. Hey, hubby's home. That's what I'm expecting. You understand? I never brought her to the plan. So later on, I realized something in prayer. The Holy Spirit explained to me, I can pray all day, all night, coming to this church. But if I don't bring her to the plan, this relationship and this church can end up destroyed. Because when you have trouble, can you really pray? You cannot pray the right way. And that's one thing that I did. So, and I told her, okay, then we need to come to the church. So I start bringing her when we wake up. We take the kids to school, and we would come to the church together. And I'm doing what I'm doing, and she's doing. And then she'll tell me, I don't know this. I don't know. So you don't know anything about this? She said, no, you never tell me anything. I'm like, wow. And so I'll show her certain things, what we do in church and certain things. And because if I didn't do that, and guess what? We sometimes end up spending the whole day out. I don't have no worry in my mind when I come home, someone's going to be angry at me, someone's going to be upset, because we are together. And we're talking, we have fun, and we go home together. Whatever time that pleases us. You see, when I bring her into the plan, how things become easier. And guess what? A lot of things I was trying to do by myself. By bringing her into it, I realized my task was easier. I realized there are things I'm doing that she's like, okay, why you do it like this? But like this. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I've been wasting a lot of time for no reason when I had someone that could have helped me. And all I had to do, be the true leader and understand I have a suitable helper to help me in what I need. And that goes for every man here. Sometimes you have to think, put yourself in the woman position. Every man, think about it. Put yourself in your wife's position. So that it feels like she doesn't understand, but the truth is you don't understand. You want her to support whatever you want to do the way you want to do it, but you never bring her into it. And that will create a lot of problems. I've never seen two people riding in the same place that have the same vision together, going to the same place, have problems like that. But if we have different visions, different plans, or one is dreaming, the other one is not dreaming, that's problem right there. So, I think I'm leaving my notes behind and to keep on talking. And we also mentioned that a man has to first make sense before journey with a woman. Life has to make sense with a man first. Your life has to make sense to you before you bring someone along the journey. If you're still trying to figure out life, leave that woman alone. You have to make sure your life makes sense. Pastor, what about me? I'm married already. Then if you're married already, it's time of prayer to try to figure out what you really need to do because you have someone following you. I want you to think about it. I want you to imagine someone is working here. They turn in here and then someone is following them. They don't know where they're going. They keep turning around the chair. Would you want to follow someone like that? You would follow them for a few minutes. After a few minutes, you would rebel. You would say, nah, I'm not following you. What are we doing? You see problems? Now you become a rebel because you're asking questions. Now somebody's going to say you're not humble, you're not this. But they don't understand. They do not have a plan. You're not taking me anywhere, so why should I continue to do the nonsense you're doing? You understand? So it becomes a problem between the two people because if the men don't have a plan, not every woman will keep following you. They will follow you for 1 year. Some women for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Some women will just say, okay, enough is enough. You don't have no plans. You keep going in a circle. It's either we live here in this apartment and the next one, we don't know what we're doing. What are we doing? You're just going from job to jobs. What are we doing? So when there's no plan like this, it's a real problem. It's a real problem. So every man ought to have a plan. You have to know what you're doing with yourself before you get someone on board. And as for the married couples, you have to pray. And if you don't know, tell your wife, we need to pray. Because I didn't have a plan. We need to get a plan from God to know what we need to do. And let us pray. And that moment you need to start praying to figure out what we need to do. If not, it's going to be a troubled relationship. You know, one thing about life, if you're not happy in the place you call home, you'll never be happy anywhere else. If you're afraid in your mind to come home because of problems, that's a huge problem. Because your home's supposed to be a sanctuary. That's the place when you have trouble anywhere at work, you think about, man, I need to be home. But if you think in home is problem, then you really have problems. That's a real problem there. And for your home to be a sanctuary, there has to be a real life going on there with you and your spouse. If not, every day you out, if the boss says overtime, you say, yes, sir. No matter how tired you are, because you don't want to go home. And not knowing you're destroying your relationship more, the marriage more. Because your home is not a sanctuary. Because you don't want to go home. You always have to make sure that your home is a sanctuary for you. And for it to be a sanctuary, there has to be a real relationship going on in that house. And real relationship doesn't work because you pay the bills. It works because you're leading someone and you tell that person, this is what we are doing, and let's do it together. So I'm going to let my wife continue.
Well, thank you. I'm going to continue, but, we're coming back to him, right? Yes, you need to hear from both of us. It wasn't really easy preparing for this. Why? Because this is not a marriage seminar. It's a relationship seminar. So you do have single people. We have people that are divorced. We have people that are married. So we're going to do the best we can to kind of speak to all of you. All right? And my husband mentioned something that is very powerful when it comes to the husband being a leader in the home. Women are very detailed beings. Men are more generalized. Women, we need details. We want to know, okay, you say you're going to West Palm Beach. Are you taking Turnpike? Or are you taking I-95? Or are you taking 441? We want to know how you're going to get there. Yes, we want to know the details. My husband, he does not care if I'm driving. He just starts snoring in the car. But me, I cannot sleep. I need to see everything he's doing. And if he's taking the red light, I need to ask him, babe, the light is red. He's like, listen, just let me drive. And that's something very important. When he says, just let me drive. And I need to understand. As a woman, we need to understand. The moment you allow a man to come and talk to you and you made up your mind, you said, okay, this is the one for me. I think I'm going to go with that one. Or I married this man. You married this man. You're already married, or whatever the case might be. You have to understand that the man has his responsibility. And as a woman, one thing that you need to do once you say yes, it's to trust this man to do what? To lead you. And men, that is why it's very important to have your own goals, to have a plan, because if you have a plan, now you sit and you explain to the woman, then she won't have any problem following you because she says, okay, he got it all together. I can relax and let him lead. All right. Anytime, your children, for those of you who have kids, your children know when something is wrong and they'll question you about it. It's the same way for a woman. We know when a man don't get it all together. We know, we feel it. So if a woman start asking you questions, there's a problem. You need to make things clearer, or you need to get your act together and say, okay, I need to think more about this and that. So we're going to look into how does the man's life has to make sense first before they take on a woman. Before a man said, okay, I'm going to get this woman, or I'm going to marry this woman, or I married this woman. Because remember, we're speaking from different perspective here. The woman's job is to multiply whatever you give to her. Okay? So Apostle mentioned this recently. He says, you bring groceries to a woman, what does she do? She makes meals, she cooks, right? All right. So now you go ahead and you bring a seed to a woman, what does she do with it? She'll multiply it. If you bring, sperm, I see that we have some kids here, she'll give you children, right? And if you bring a lot of problems to a woman, what does she give you? She give you hell. Yes. So, so as Apostle mentioned, a woman's job is to help with the vision that the men already have. That's their job. Once a man comes in a relationship without a vision, now you're going to have big problems in your hand. I've counseled a lot of couples. I've counseled a lot of women. And I've discovered one thing. The problem, sometimes the woman is causing the problem. Or they say, oh, this woman talk too much. I don't understand. She complains about everything. And I would tell men, I said, you got to go back to the root. Go back to the beginning. Is this how it used to be? When did the talk start? What happened? Are you giving her something to help you with? Are you giving her something to keep her occupied? Are you giving her something to do? It is very important. Now, for those of you who don't work, the women that their husband does not allow them to work, like I said, does not allow you to work. You cannot just see another woman not working and you choose to say, okay, I'm going to be a housewife. You and your husband or your partner has to sit and discuss it first. Now, for those of you who's a stay-at-home parent or you just a housewife, there's many things that you can do, as the Bible talk about it in the book of Proverbs. Everybody knows the book of Proverbs 31st. They want to, a man want a woman that is a Proverbs 31 woman, right? But at the same time, if you don't come with a vision for this woman, even if she was a Proverbs 31 woman, she's going to change in your hand. Because what happened is, since you didn't bring a vision to her, she's going to have to create something. She's going to have to give you something. Now, what happened is the role is reversed. Instead of the woman helping the men with the vision, now it's the men helping the women with the vision. And that's the problem we have with men that are not working and the women are working. Yes, you want to be the man. You want her to respect you and everything. Yes, she will. But you have to understand the role is reversed and it's a big issue here. You're going to have a lot of problem in your hand because she's playing your role and you're playing her role. Now, the way things were supposed to be originally was that when the Proverb 31 talks about it, as you can see, the woman stay at home. What does she do? She cleans, she cooks, she does different things. She makes sure the house is ready. When the husband come, everything is ready, set for that husband. So now the problem is whenever... Now, the woman is the one working and the men stay at home. You cannot expect this woman to come home and be all submissive and be all honey-dovey and you didn't do anything. And you're telling her she's supposed to do it. It's not going to work because now which one is she supposed to be here in the relationship? And we have to think about it. First of all, we have to make sure that we are playing our roles right. Okay? Now, the Bible says Jesus Christ asked the men to be like what? To love the woman as Jesus Christ loves the church. Okay? Now, what makes us see that Jesus loved the church so much? He didn't only say he loves the church. He sacrificed. He proved it. He acted upon the word. Okay? So now, one of the problems we have, I am so big on submissiveness. I'm very big on that. And when I when I first got with my husband, I was not always submissive. Like he said, we didn't go to school to learn how to be a wife. There are things you learn as you go. So I didn't always know how to be submissive. Is it because I didn't know how to be? Is it because I didn't want to be? No. We just got married or whatever. And I wasn't always submissive, but I've learned along the way. One of the best jewelry for a woman to possess is submissiveness. Submissiveness is not to say, I'm going to lay on the floor and let him walk all over me. It's not that. And for the man, submissiveness is to not choose to do whatever you want to this woman, and she needs to comply and sit here and accept it. That's not submissiveness. Like we said, whatever you give to the woman, she'll multiply it. If you come with kindness, trust me, she'll be double that. She'll double it to you. If you come with affection, I'm telling you, you'll have one of the best in your hands. But if you come with aggressiveness, then you're going to meet a side of this woman that you've never met before. Okay? So now, men must love the woman as Christ loved the church. He demonstrated, he acted upon it. And you can see what proved that Christ really loved the church. In the midst of the sin, in the midst of our imperfection, Christ showed us love. Now, you may marry someone, you may marry a woman that for some reason you realize, okay, she's a bit aggressive, she's a bit loud, and a lot of things that you don't like. Now, does that mean you need to go to the courthouse? And this is one of the biggest issues we have these days. We are so quick to give up. We are so quick to say, we throw in the towel and we're done. We don't give it much thought. We don't sit down to find the issue. One of the biggest issues that we have these days with most of our men, going into a relationship, you must, as a man, have, Apostle mentioned this before, a mentor. Now, I'm not saying a pastor. I'm saying a mentor. It is very important that this man has someone that he submit under. Now, the problem with most men today is none of them want to sit in front of us, somebody to help them, a psychologist. Now, I really recommend a Christian one. Because one thing I've learned is when there's problem in the relationship or there's problem in the marriage, we go to a psychologist, especially if they're not Christian. I realize they do things to make you keep coming back because that's how they keep making their money. You know? So I encourage to have someone that is a Christian, a mentor, someone that you can go to, your pastor, someone that you can go to sit and explain the issue. Now, this is one way, women, we're going to know that this man has submission also in him. It's when you ask him, who do you account to? Who keeps you accountable? Now, that person must have someone that he can answer to. Someone, if there's an issue in the relationship, that he can go to, or you can go to and talk about it, and it won't be a problem. Someone he'll listen to. Someone he submit under. And that will help a lot in the relationship. All right? So, the nature of the women, to go back, is to help the men with the vision. It's not to actually bring the vision, but it's to help the men with the vision. The man is actually the one God is always going to give the vision to. The man is the one God is always going to give the vision to. The same way God gave Adam a vision. He gave Adam a job. When God came into the Garden of Eden, he did not call Eve, although Eve was the one who did what she did. He called on Adam because Adam was the one with the responsibility. Okay? So the vision will always be given to the men. All right? So a lack of vision frustrates a woman because, as we mentioned, the woman has nothing to do. You don't give her something to do. And now she's going to start finding things to do. And a lot of women nowadays, they find drama. They bring the drama home to you, and it's a problem for you. You see, it's very important to bring vision home. It's very important to have a vision before you get into a relationship, because if you don't, the whole problem is going to rely on your back. Like my husband said earlier, before we get out, he says, I get the solution. He said, we're just going to get out there and we're going to say it's cheaper to keep her. And that's it. All right. So I've heard this before. It's cheaper to keep her. But you do have a lot of problem in your hand, because while he's keeping you because it's cheap, all the affection and all the love, all the passion, he has to give it somewhere. And if you're not receiving it, now you know there's a problem. You know what's going on. All right? Okay. So we heard this saying, you are my ride or die. Right? So as a man, before you say you are my ride or die, you must know which direction you're taking in life. Right? You must know. Say that again, babe. Where are we riding to? Right? Yeah, where are we riding to? And these are the questions that a woman will have for a man, and the man has to be able to answer it. And don't take it as something that is rude when a woman asks you questions, because we want to know. We are curious being. We must know. That's why Eve went and ate the fruit, because she's curious. She needs to know what's going on. So where are we going? Where are we riding to? All right? And before we die with you, why are we dying? What's the reason? What are we dying for? You understand what I'm saying? It's okay. We don't mind dying, but we need to know why. What are we dying for? You must give us a reason. Okay? So a relationship, like a lot of people make it to be today, it's not about material things. A relationship, it's not about the outside, the outer beauty. It's not about, oh, he's handsome. Because today, every woman is looking for this tall man. Every woman is looking for this light skin, this green eyes. Well, let me say, the light brown eyes, hazel eyes. They're looking for, the curly hair man. They're looking for the. You like it dark. Yes. Like it. Well, that's you, but a lot of women, that's what they're looking for. And a lot of men are looking for the Coca-Cola shape. And that's why today you have so many Brazilian, how do you call it, BBL? You have so much of that. They're looking for all these coconut chest women, and now the women are taking whatever money they have and to go and do these things. That's what they're seeking for. Yes, and I don't know if you realize one of those celebrities, I forgot her name. She was in the Housewife of Atlanta, I think. I forgot her name. But you could see now how much money she's paying to take out all these things. K. Michelle, all these things that she had paid money to do, now she's paying to take them off. And it's causing her a lot, her health, and a lot of things. So we cannot base relationship on material things. We cannot base relationship on the outer looks. We cannot do that. Relationship is about directions. Relationship is about directions. Women are beings that are bound to be committed. They are looking for commitment. Okay, women are looking for commitment in a relationship. If you're talking to a woman and for some reason she was hot in the beginning and all of a sudden she grew cold, she found something or she didn't find something. She's looking for commitment. And if you are all over the place, then we have a problem. Because a woman is seeking to see what is keeping your attention. Okay, what have you been doing from the past 7 years? What have you committed to? What did you stick to? You cannot be here and you are there and you are here or you are there. Once the woman detects that, once she realizes that, you have a problem in your hand and she's going to grow cold. So women are bound to be committed and women look for commitment. You look for commitment. Thank you, Lord. So when you when you have a relationship that is based on material things, all of a sudden, something happened. And everyone grew cold in the relationship. You have to pay attention to see one of the things, if a woman loves a man, if a man is good to a woman, you will know. She's not looking, I'm not saying for you to look for the, like they say, all beings are beautiful. But is this true if we were telling the truth in our eyes? That's not how we make judgment. We're Christian, we can't lie, right? Yes. So we have to be honest. We know not all creatures are that handsome. Yes, Lord. So any relationship that is based on material things or outer look, it will not last. Any relationship that is built on material things, it will not last. Because there's going to be a time in life where something's going to happen. The man will lose his job. The woman will start getting wrinkles. My kids told me, Mom, you're getting wrinkles. These kids. Things will happen. And when things happen, if it was based on material things, what are you going to do? You can see you're going to jump onto the next one real quick. Right? All right. So it cannot be based on things like that. So you have to base your relationship on things that matter in life, on goals. Things, and most of the things that are so important to us in life are things that you cannot see. Most of the things that are important in this life are things that you cannot see with these eyes. They cannot be seen. They cannot be touched. So therefore, you need these things. You need to have goals in the relationship. You need to have visions in the relationship. And before you get any further, listen to this, in a relationship, before you get any further, you must sit down with whoever it is and explain your goals and your visions. Because you might have them, but if they don't fit me, we're not going to make it too far. And if you are already married and you didn't have drive in life, you didn't have goals in life, you didn't have visions in life, and you are now listening to this and you're hearing this and you said, okay, I need to come up with stuff, or you recently came up with them, you still need to sit down with your wife, with your spouse, and explain these things. Babe, this is where I'm going. Or maybe before you were out in the world, you didn't know Christ and you had different visions. And now that you found Christ, you have different motives. But you still have to sit with your partner and discuss them. And say, I've taken another route, another direction in life. And because it does not involve only me, I'm going to sit and share them with you. Now, I want to know, are we going to have a problem? Because if this person was meant for you, these goals, these visions, if God was the one who gave them to you, you're going to share them. If it's hard for her to swallow, then we need to pray. We need to pray. Apostle recently mentioned something to me. We had a decision to make. And he said something the day before. And I said, okay, babe, I'm always there to back you up. And the next day, we took a drive, and it was a long drive. And he came back, he said, I don't know about this, babe. And the next day, he came, I said, hold up. You're confusing me. What are we doing? He said, you better pray too, because I'm trying to get direction myself. So I said, all right, now, it's time to pray. It's okay. You're not always going to have it figured out. You're not God. You're a man. You're human. So you're not always going to have it all together. It's okay. Just make it clear. Like he said, you better go in prayer, babe. Because I'm trying to figure it out myself. Now, it's okay. Once I'm clear on that, once we are clear that we both don't know what it is yet, we're going to get direction from God. we're settled. We're good. And you have to make sure you do that in a relationship. Make sure that you have the goals and visions ready and you share them with the person that is actually taking the journey with you, because you are not alone. You are not by yourself. The moment you choose to be in a relationship, you must understand you share everything. Nothing is kept secret. Unless God tells you so. Always leave room for the Spirit of God. Nothing is a secret. Now, don't say this woman, she invades my space. You don't have a space. You don't have a space because you chose me. You chose the woman, and you know women what we do. We know everything in this house. We know every location in the house. Yeah, my husband, he has a man cave. He has a man cave, yes. I gave it to him after so many years. He deserves it. So he worked hard for it. So I gave him a man cave. But you can't lock me out of it. We are one. We are one. What's yours is mine. So we share everything. The same way, I cannot have my own space either unless we are fasting or we are in prayer. That's the only time. Now, I know, for those of you who might be on the path to probably be in a relationship with a minister or a politician or someone of some sort, you have to understand, although I mentioned that what's yours is mine, you don't have space or stuff like that, as human beings, sometimes you need a breather. There are times I don't bother this man. I let him be. I let him be because you have to understand, you cannot be breathing down somebody's neck all the time. It's not good. You know what you're going to do? You're going to chase them away. You have to give them their moment. They need their moment. They need their time to think, to make decision. Don't be so controlling as a wife. Don't use that as an excuse to control. So it is very, very important that you give him his space. Okay? Now, before I go any further, babe, do you have anything to say? No, you can talk. You sure? Yes, you do. Of course. All right. This next point is relationship evaluation. How to evaluate a relationship. That's very important. Any relationship that makes you bitter and not better, it's a relationship that you need to sit and think hard about. Now, I said here it needs to go. It got to go. But what if you're already married? I pray one day we can have a marriage seminar where we will just hit it for married couples. But I'm talking from two different points of view here. What if you are already married? What do you do if you are in a relationship and all you do is you get bitter and not better? You really need to sit down and reevaluate this relationship, reevaluate this marriage. You need to sit and take time to speak. Now, I tell couples, this is very important. This is something you should be doing at the end of every week, but I tell them do it at the end of every month. Or for some of you, maybe every 3 months, but it's very important that you do it very often. It helps a lot. Where you don't do it at home, there's a lot of distraction. And not only that, you choose a place that is not familiar. And at this moment, as you go to that place, first thing that comes to mind is, okay, this is serious. I need to take it serious, both parties. And as you go to that place, you sit down and you talk about the whole week or the whole month. The first thing you start with is compliments. You tell your spouse or your partner What happened during this month that you loved, that you liked, that pleased you, that was good? You talk about all the good things. Both of you need to take time and do that. Then after you talk about things that took place that you didn't like so much, that you would like to change. And both parties should have a chance to really express themselves in this way. It is very important that you do that. And this is what happened today. We have so many divorces because so much buildup, so much happened that we never sat to talk about. We just keep going on and on and on and on and on. Even in ministry, that happened. We have a lot of leaders that are bleeding on their members. Lots of leaders bleeding on their members because they never took time off. There's something called sabbatical. I used to laugh at it. I'm like, what? You're doing the work of God and you're on a sabbatical? What? You're on a vacation from doing the work of God? Oh, no. You're dealing with people. It is very important that you take time off. You take time off and go clear your mind. Go speak to God. Go replenish. Go renew your mind. Take time away from the crowd. Jesus did that a lot. He took time away to go and communicate with the Holy Spirit and with the Father. It's good to go away from home, from work. It won't kill you. Sometimes it doesn't even have to cost anything. Go by the beach. Sit down on a blanket. Go somewhere. Go downtown. Downtown. City Place is a beautiful place to be. You just go there, you sit down and you talk to your spouse. You talk to your partner. And that is one of the ways you keep the fire going in your relationship. You make sure you talk about it. And it's not going to build up to 1 year. A lot of time, let me speak to the men for a minute. You see the women being upset. If you're like me, I love to stay quiet when I'm upset. I'm not one of these wives that talk. But I'll quiet. And sometimes the quiet can be even louder than the talk. You know? And my husband is kind of the same way. He's worse than me. When he's so not happy, he's so quiet. He's so quiet, you know? But I know how to give him time. And then later on, I'll just go to him and we'll just talk about it. Or he comes to me and we'll just talk about it, you know? But we cannot both be up there. One of us have to be there. Yes. So it pays off to take some time. Go somewhere. Sit down and talk about the relationship, about the month, the things that transpired, the things that happened, what you love the most. Always start by complimenting him. Always start by telling him the things that he does that was good. Always start by telling her the things that she did that was good. And then you talk about the bad. It is very important. Very important. And that way we have balance. Now, when we talk about the bad, it's not to bash each other, but it's so that what are we going to do about it? One mistake that a lot of women make, I used to make, is to assume that the man knows everything. Assume that, oh yeah, he sees I'm not happy. He knows I'm not happy. Let me tell you, I've discovered that men can be so clueless. When you're so upset and you're laying down and that's when he comes to, what are you touching me for? I'm upset. He's like, baby, okay? Hello, I'm not happy here. You know, very clueless. And he really doesn't get it. And sometimes I'd be so upset and then I realize, okay, see, I'm fighting myself here. We need to learn to speak. We need to learn to express. Don't ever speak when something just happened. Take your time. Because I know it's going to come out with screaming and just a bad attitude and all that. We know we're not saints. We're not saints. So we all have that side of us when we're upset. We tend to, kind of raise our voices. Okay, me, my mother had 5 children, 5 kids. So sometimes when your parent have a lot of kids, sometimes for you to be heard, you got to talk out loud. And my husband would tell me, babe, why are you screaming? And I never realized I was. It's not because I'm upset, because I thought he needs to hear me. And I get excited. So I'm going to talk loud. But then I realized, okay, the louder I talk, the less he hears. I have to lower my voice. And that is part of being submissive. We're going to get to that. That's one of my favorite parts. Submissiveness. Okay? So any relationship that is exhausting you as a person, it's not exalting you, that relationship needs to go. If you have not been married yet and you're in a relationship like that, let me tell you something. You've been trying. It's not going to work. Don't think it's going to work when you marry him. It's not. You either work on it and it works, or you see it's not working and you get up and leave it. If you're married, like we mentioned already, and you feel like you cannot fix it together, we need to seek for help outside. Caribbean men that are from the Caribbean, or men that are children of women that are from the Caribbean. You get it, right? It's hard for them to go and sit in front of someone because they feel like that person has their own issues. How are they going to help me? Or they feel like, well, I was taught to man up. So I'm not going to sit in front of nobody to get help. And you're destroying not only yourself without knowing, you are destroying the woman. And most of the time, the women are willing to do whatever they can to get that help. Please, do not ever allow that help to come from your family member. Do not put your family in your marriage business. It's not because they're bad people. You see, my mother, she know anything going on with my siblings or their relationship, she's willing to say, you need to pray. She doesn't believe in the divorce thing. She does not believe in that. She believes in working hard to fix it. Now, we know some things can't be fixed. But she's always willing to give the good, the good advice. But you have some family members that say, oh, no. No, you come right back home, sweetheart. You come right back home. You're not happy. How long this been going on? Oh, no. And now what you have is the grace. I want you to understand the grace that God has given you as a woman or as a man to understand, to tolerate your spouse. Your family member was not blessed with that grace. Because it's not them that are in that relationship. So you have to understand, when you tell them certain things, you go home, God give you the grace, you forgive, you move on, you loving your husband, and they're still home being mad. They see the man and, and the husband or the wife is like, okay, what did I do to your family? What's going on? They still hold on to things. They never let go. They love you. That's because they love you. But they just don't have the grace to let it go like you do. And this is why you don't share certain things. We've counseled people where family members just make things worse in the marriage, in the relationship. So this is the reason why you don't share certain things. Even with your children. You don't share certain things. Because it will only hurt them more. There are certain things you don't want your children to know about your spouse, about their father. And there are certain things you don't want your children to know about their mother. Do you understand? So you have to be very careful about the type of information you're disclosing. It will be better to talk to a stranger than someone you know. Don't even call a best friend. Because some of them think they love you so much. Without your knowledge, they're going to go to this man and say, listen, let me tell you something. I've been friend with this person before you. You're not going to come and destroy her. They will do that. Or a best friend will go to the woman. And sometimes they do it without the person's knowledge. Is that what the person meant to do? No. He was just seeking for help at the moment. She was just seeking for help. But she didn't ask you to go make things worse for them. Okay? So you have to be very careful with disclosing information to family members or anything. Any relationship that is pulling you from God's presence, that relationship gotta go. It's a great no. I told two people recently that was trying to make a relationship work. I told them, there are what's called, you can compromise for certain things. That's a part of being in a relationship. You have to know how to compromise. Okay? You're not always going to have everything on the list. You're not always going to have that. You have to understand there are things you're going to have to compromise. You have to. Whether you are in a marriage, whether you are in a relationship, you're not going to have it all. You have to compromise. And for those who don't want to compromise, you will learn later when you're getting around 40-something that, okay, I may have to break it down a little. I know this guy, and he's a minister, and he has this long list. The first thing on the list was she needs to be a virgin. And then it goes down and down and down. And we've known this person for so many years now, and he's still not married. And I don't know if he realized there's not so many Marys anymore. So he starts scratching things off the list. Now he I think he has about one. He has about one. Lord, let her be a God-fearing woman. So compromise, right? Compromise. You're not going to have everything on the list. You're not going to have everything on the list. And this one is a very important one, right? It all started with God. He's your foundation. The Bible says if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? It all started there. Now imagine you are in church. Imagine you are doing good in life, and all of a sudden you are part of the choir, you're doing this, you're doing that, and a man or a woman come in the picture, and then you start slacking. You start coming to church late. You start missing rehearsals. You don't sit up front no more. Things start changing little by little without noticing. Oh, it's okay. We can go to the movies today. There's nothing wrong with going to the movies, but I'm telling you, before everything, you got to put God first. There's going to be a time where he's going to be the only one you have. Only one. So you have to be careful how you allow someone to pull you away from that one. Your relationship started first with God. You cannot allow anybody to pull you away from God. I can take an example from my sister. We were raised in a Christian home. Very strict when it comes to church. Believe it or not, I used to be the one they dragged to church. No lie, no kidding. And when I go, I only go to laugh. Yes, I go to laugh at whoever's falling asleep or something. I find something with my friends we talk about. I only had one friend. I used to have a stomachache every Sunday. If it's not that, it's a headache. It's always something. Until one day my dad said, listen, come. I want you to tell the stomachache, the next time it comes, I'm going to take you and him and I'm going to kill both of you. Next Sunday, I was the first one ready. I said, Daddy, I told him. He didn't come. So we were raised, we have and my dad is very big on dating people that is a Christian. You have to date someone that is in church. That was his number one. But we don't always listen, right? We don't always listen. So my sister married someone who was not a Christian. And later on, when he wants to go enjoy his life at parties and stuff, she wants to be in church because she loves God so much. She wants to be in church. And it caused a big problem in their marriage to the point of separation. Not divorce, almost, but separation. And it was really, really, really bad. But she held her ground. She said, you found me in church. You will not pull me away from church. And she stood. But I'm telling you, it took prayer. She's a prayer warrior. It took prayer. This lady would pray to the point I felt annoyed. And she prays ugly when she prays in tongue. She prays ugly, yes. It's like those deep African tongue. You know? So she would spend time in prayer. And that's how God graced her and gave her another chance. You know, and now they're happily married. Happily married. And we bless God for that. So be careful. Do not allow anyone to pull you away from God's presence. It all started with God. And it will all finish with God. So that is one thing you don't compromise for. Whether you're a man or a woman. You don't compromise for that. Any relationship that is barren and not bearing, that relationship has to go. Now, you've been in a relationship for so long. What came out of it? After we are married for so many years, well, by the grace of God, Apostle and I, we're about to celebrate 14 years. 14 years. 14 years. We bless God for that. Only but the grace. Yeah. Well, that's how many years we've been married, but we know each other for, I'll test him.
Something like 20 years older.
Yes. It's about, yes. 19 going on 20, yeah. So, we've known each other for that long. So, you always take my mind away. What were we talking? Okay, yes. You have to bear fruit. So, you've been in a relationship for so long. You've been in this. What have you got out of it? How did this man who's supposed to lead you, what did he help you to produce? What did he help you to reproduce? What did he help you to accomplish? What did we both accomplish together? If before this relationship, you were clueless about life, after getting into this relationship, you must now have a sense of direction, a sense of goal in this life. Where you're trying to go. You know, he got to bring the best out of you, and you have to bring the best out of him. You have to bear fruit. You have to bear fruit. Anything that is barren, what does the Bible call it? It's cursed. It's a curse to be barren. It's a curse. So we must seek for help if we're not bearing any fruit. And you have to ask yourself, as you sit here listening, whether you're married or not, whether you're in a relationship, what did I get out of it? What am I getting out of this relationship? Am I pushing him to do something with his life? Is he pushing me to do something with my life? What did we get out of it? Just because you have a past history with him, that's a beautiful one right there, or with her, it does not mean you have a future with him or with her. Apostle mentioned this sometimes in church. He says, a lot of people, they only talk about what used to be. That's all they have. What we need to do in the past. The type of things that used to happen in the past. Where are we now? Where are we going? Where are we heading? It's no longer yesterday. It's a new day. What are we doing now? That's what is important. And where are we heading? This is important. You want to say anything, babe? Huh? All right. Yeah, something to say.
These are a very powerful point, how to evaluate relationship. And because if you don't do that, you will never know where you're at and where you need to go. Because life isn't about just living every day. Life, you have to make progress. There has to be progress made in life. And as a matter of fact, the Bible said Jesus cursed the fig tree not because it was a dead tree, it was a green tree, there was no fruit in it. So anything or anyone that's not fruitful, you're a problem. You're a problem because you're not needed on this earth if you're not fruitful. Because people don't look for green in a tree, they look for fruit. So if you're not fruitful, you're not needed. You can be the best person ever on this earth, nice person ever, but if there's no fruit, there's nothing. So that's very important. You have to evaluate yourself to see when you start this relationship, and after a year, after 2 years, where you at. But being fruitful doesn't mean that you're doing something great, but there has to be at least some type of hope, some type of vision, some type of things you're looking forward to accomplish. Time just haven't allowed you yet. But the plan is so solid, it's so powerful. You're just waiting for an opportunity to come and to just execute this plan. And that's part of bearing fruit. There has to be something solid that you're just waiting. We're not talking about some crazy dream, like you want to become the queen of the world or something. That's your dream. You can't wait for God to make you the president of this earth. That's foolishness. But something concrete, something solid that you have, and that's very important. As well, I was waiting for my wife to mention this point. I don't know if she was going to talk about it. Genesis chapter 3. You going to talk about it, or should I? So looks like she kind of skipped this part because it's very interesting for me. So okay, we kind of when mankind sinned, Adam, Eve sinned, and this took place. God spoke to Adam, spoke to the snake, and when he spoke to the woman, says to the woman, he said, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor, you will give birth to children." And the second part of this, it says, your desire will be for your husband. And it says, he will rule over you. If you wanted to call this a curse, that women were cursed to love their husband, I want you to think about it. If you wanted to call it, I'm not saying it's a curse, God mandated women, they just have to love the husband. If it's your husband, you're going to love him. We're not talking about if he's a good person that is making money, whether he's a drunk, whatever he is, a woman has no choice but to just love the man. I mean, most of us, we have a testimony that you're looking at somebody saying, what does she see in this man? But yet she's connected. She would do anything. She would die for that person because women was cursed to love that man. That's it. Because God said the desire, you're going to long for the man, for that husband. And it's not a choice. So to a certain extent, a woman would get that deep connection with the husband. And not because he's tall, not because he's this. If that's what you're looking for, something is wrong. That's probably not the man for you. Because it's just desire, the person that's the husband. God didn't say a good husband, someone that's working, that's doing great in life. As long as it's that husband, that's going to be a connection. Because that's one of the things for the women to just desire the husband. And whatever he's a drunk or not, a woman would always want the man to rule over her because God mandated it that way. And according to most women, it's sexy to see their husband is leading them, is ruling over them. Now you see why. Because God has spoken something like this. And it feels fit in the mindset of a woman to see the husband is leading. Because it was spoken that way, to be this way. So just because the desire is for the husband, the husband shouldn't mistreat the woman as well. You understand? Think about it. And we've seen this. There's men that beat the woman and she's not going to go nowhere. Because there's something that connects her. When a woman, there are women, when they leave, you know something really happens. Something that is not really happening has been happening. She just can't take it no more. Because the connection that a woman would have with a man, for her to just get up and leave, you know there had to be something. Because God himself has spoken those words in the woman's life that she must have desired or longed for her husband. And a man shouldn't take that for granted. And a woman, because a woman going to be connected with you, doesn't mean that you have to mislead her as well. Because you yourself, God has spoken what he has spoken for the men as well. Your job is to work hard for you to eat and to feed your family as well. And any man that's not working hard to help your family, it's a problem. It's a problem. And I'm telling you, once we are not doing the word, fulfilling the word of God, it's an open door to the devil. A man that's not working hard to help his family, you will see the devil enter that relationship and do whatever he wants. Because the rule of it's not, you're not doing anything or not fulfilling God's words. So the devil has access into that relationship because of that. It's very important for everything to happen according to God's ways, God's will. So it's not me that's the speaker tonight. So I'm just here saying a few words.
It's okay, babe. It's us. You see why I love this man? He's so deep. He's so deep. All right, I have some pointers for the men. And women, I'm coming for you as well. So I do have some for you as well, but we're going to start with the men first. For those who have not been married, let me speak to you first. We're going to stretch it a little bit more before you get in a relationship or before you go further in that relationship. Make sure you find your calling in life. Find your purpose in life. Find your vision, your goal, and everything. It is very important. Very important. You're going to waste less time and you're not going to waste that women's time either. Okay? And for those of you here who have a calling on their lives, that has to do with ministry or anything, the person you will choose in life will also be called. The person that you will choose will also be called. It has to be balanced. You cannot marry someone and that person is out there going crazy for the Lord and you're not happy. I knew when my husband answered to the call. By the way, we were already married. We found each other before he got into ministry, way before that. And that's one thing I'm very, very, very happy about. And when he said yes to God, I know I had an answer also to give. I have to say yes to that calling. Now, if I don't, I will be a very miserable person. Now, Apostle mentioned earlier how I would be home and I was not happy because he's always out there in church. He's doing this, he's doing that. The only time I come is when there's service and I come to, be active then. No, I have more in me than that. I want to put them to use. And at that moment, it wasn't working with me because I'm not the type of woman who'd like to just sit down. I got to do something. And if I need to help you, you got to give me something to help you with. Whatever you're doing, I need to be doing it as well. I need to help you, humbly. So if you're going to be in ministry, you have to make sure that the person you choose or the person you're with is as much called as you are, or you will have a problem in your hand. A man in a relationship is supposed to be a provider, is supposed to be a protector. Women love to feel protected. They love, and how do they feel protected? All they need sometimes is reassurance. They need you to reassure them that, hey, babe, I'm going to lead you. I'm here for you. I realize you have not been spoken. I've realized you've been quiet. Is everything okay? Now you're showing him that you're leading. They want to feel protected. They want to feel secure in your hands. So you have to continue to do that. Even God himself, the Bible says that he renews his love. He renews his spirit inside of you every day. So you have to make sure, as human, as a man, you reassure the woman, hey, I still love you. I remember a pastor gave me a joke. He said this woman one time said, babe, ever since we got married, you never told me you love me. Ever since that day. He said, oh, when I change my mind, I'll let you know. I haven't changed my mind yet. So, although you're still here, you haven't changed your mind, you're still in the relationship, but you have to let your spouse know. She wants to hear it, that you still love her. Tell her you love her. Tell her you love her. Tell her that you are beautiful. Compliment her. She loves stuff like that. Women love that. Because let me tell you something. They're going to seek for it somehow. If you're not saying it, they're going to seek for it somewhere else. That's why you never tell a woman, man, you talk too much. Listen, if she keeps talking, there's something you're not getting. Listen to her. Take your time to listen. Because there's something she's trying to say. I tell people, when you're in a relationship and you see things that used to be okay with a woman, now it's starting to be a problem. Let's say she didn't have a problem after you eat. She comes and take your plate and she goes and wash it, and the cup, she wash it or whatever. She cleans after you. She picks this sucks off. She does this and that. It was never a problem. It was never an issue for her to cook, for her to clean. And it was never a problem. And one day, she started complaining. Wait, you don't know how to wash a plate? Oh my gosh. Why does it have to be me doing everything? Why does it have to be me doing this? Why does it have to be me doing that? Or whatever. Well, my husband's been blessed. Because it was not until 12 years or 11 years that my husband, one day he says, babe, where do I put the soap in the machine? Yeah. Because I was always doing it. I never allowed him to do it. And it was never a problem to me. Never a problem. I used to iron everything. Now we're so busy. We're so busy we have to get the dry cleaning. But I used to do the ironing. I used to do the washing, everything. I never had a problem with it. The day you see a woman wake up and it starts being a problem, things that used to not be a problem, pay attention. Don't say washing the dishes is the problem. You got to go to the source of the problem. It is just a symptom. It's just a symptom. There is something causing it to be a problem. And you have to find out what it is. And a lot of time, she may not say anything about the washing dishes. I'm taking this as an example. But you may hear from up there, you in the room, and you hear the noise, the dishes. You hear them glang, 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 glang. You hear the pots and everything. Let me tell you, she's been talking. You have not been listening. She stopped talking. Now she's acting. Pay attention. Everything that wasn't a problem now is becoming a problem. There is something deeper than that. Pay attention and go to the root of the problem. Okay? If you say, man, this woman talks so much, I want you to listen to yourself. Then there's something you're not hearing. There's something you're not doing. Because the moment, let me tell you, I can say to my husband, babe, there's something wrong with the sink. You know, there's something every day. Oh, yeah, okay. Babe, there's something wrong with the sink. Oh, yeah. We need to call, yeah. Tomorrow, babe, there's something wrong with this. What does he need to do to make me stop saying it? Fix it. If you need to call someone, It needs to be fixed. The moment you take care of the issue, you shut her up. She will stop talking. But if she continues, unless you have a big problem in your hand, because there's some women that just naturally talk. No, I'm serious. I know them. I know some, yes. They just talk so much. They just can't help it. They're used to it. But if you want to get a woman to stop talking, just act. Do it and boom. Whenever she comes back to say, hey, I took care of it. And that's it. So make her feel secure in every way. Protect her. Love her. That's all God asks you to do. To love the woman as he loves the church. Show her. Not only say it. Women can feel. They can sense when you're lying or when you're telling the truth. They feel it inside of them. It's a natural thing. It's a gift. Every woman is a prophetess. Every woman is a prophetess. I'm so serious. They can call out things that, whether you're telling the truth or not, they can tell you. They can sense it. They can feel it. Some may choose not to say anything, but they know. They know. So protect her. Every man is a provider. Don't let her be the one doing the work. I believe, and now help me, baby, right here. I believe the way things were supposed to be or used to be, the man goes to work and the woman stay home and takes care of the house. Now, the men used to go to work. All men used to work while the women stay home and work. And take care of the house. She works at home. She still works, but she takes care of the house, right? So now what happened is you have all kind of stuff going on these days where women wants to be equal to a man. And they come up with all type of stuff, you know? But I want you to know God has called the man to rule over the woman. It's okay. Let him express himself, okay? It's all right. It's okay. We need to be okay with that. See, that's what we're talking about. Allow them to express themselves. Because when they're not talking, there's a problem. So let them talk. It's good. But be ready when I'm talking to my women as well to listen to their expression. You know? So we can never be equal to a man because he was called to rule over us. As Apostle just read the verse. He was called to rule over us. Okay? But we must understand. Go ahead.
You see, as time evolves, things change. If you look at it, if we're looking for people that's well educated that goes to school, it's mostly women. And a lot of those big jobs, big positions, you know, the women have them. And can we say that for the woman to stay home and not working? No. We cannot say that because things change, time has changed. But what cannot be changed is the man still rule over the woman. You know, the system that God has given to us cannot change. The man is still the ruler. Why? Guess what? The woman is still the weaker vessel, regardless of how much degree she has, how much money she has. She's still the weaker vessel. No matter how you see a woman portray herself at work and, you know, show that she's mean, she's big and things like that, she's still a weak vessel. Because she's a woman. And that's how she was created to be. So, but it's when we're trying to reverse the role for the woman to take charge, it's a problem. It becomes a problem in the relationship, not at work. and the relationship is an issue. And that's a big issue, and that's not only damaging the relationship, but it's not affect the children, believe it or not.
Yes, and you're right about that. And this is one thing that I was going to mention as well. So you have, now things change. There's evolution and all these things happening. So you have all these women that are now educated. They go to school to become a lawyer, to become a doctor, to become this, to become that. So you cannot ask them to sit home. And one other thing we can see is that the women, a lot of men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So the women are taking over. The women are taking over because yes, Mrs. White, I'm gonna let you speak. And you have the women that are now taking over, and you cannot stop them because the men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So yes, Mrs. White, go ahead.
Bless the Lord. That was what I was just gonna say. The men left the responsibility,
Yes.
especially for single women.
Yes.
They run away from their responsibilities, so she have no other way more than to get out there,
That's right.
get educated, and do the best she can for her kids.
That's right. That's right.
And that's why you have the problem right now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, men are looking for women to
Take
care of them,
Yes.
baby them.
Yes. 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 And it's so true. It's
You know?
true. Yeah. Thank you. And that's what's happening right now. A lot of men are not really being responsible. They're not being responsible. I have 5 things I want to mention later on for the men, that they must have in them as a husband or someone working on it to become a husband. And a lot of them are not doing what they're supposed to do. So now what happened is they expect the woman to just go and do all that plus stay home and take care of the home. If you expect me to go to work, I'm going to go to work, that's okay. I'm going to be making money as well. But when we come home, honey, I'm cooking, you washing dishes. I'm sweeping, you mopping. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting the clothes in the machine, they're being washed, you're going to take them out and fold them. So it's since we're both doing it, we're going to share everything. What's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. We're going to share everything, and that includes the tasks, right? And now this one thing, I want the men that mistake to not make, where you say, it's my money. This hurts me a lot when I hear it. I hear it in counseling, I hear it a lot, and it hurts me. Oh, the man shall leave his mother and father, and he's going to become one with his wife. One. So where did yours come from? The moment we become one, now it's ours. No I, no mine. It's ours. It's us. Our language need to start changing. Our language need to start changing. I tested my husband so hard when I first got married to him. I tested him with his money. He never made me question it. That's one thing. Yeah. It's never his money. It was never his money. I tested him. He asked me to stay home and take care of our children. He said, my wife is not going to be working. He said, my wife is not going to be working. You're going to stay home. You're going to take care of and give our kids that first education, which I bless God for, because a lot of women, they want that. They just can't have it because they don't have, like Mrs. White mentioned, the men are not taking their responsibilities. They're not being responsible for what they bring to this world. So the women has to do everything, So I bless God for that opportunity. I was able to raise my kids and give them the first education before they could go to school. Many women didn't have that chance. Many women they don't have that opportunity. So do not claim that this is yours. This is mine. I work for it. Oh, I remember there's a lady who told me, and she was very, she was hurt because someone said, "Oh, you're not doing anything. You're a stay-at-home mom." She said, "I work." She said, "I work." I know I don't clock in. You know, she said, I know I don't have a place to clock in, but I work. By the time the men come home and find it clean, you don't know what took place. The type of hurricane and tornadoes, the type of storm that done happen. So much happened. Yes, with the children and everything else. You know, she works. She cook. She clean. And people wonder why when they go to court, the judge, they rule in favor of the woman. Everything, right? Every time, right? Yes. So I tell you, do not claim that this is yours. You have to actually include the woman, not only in everything else, but your finance as well. As a matter of fact, some of the women, they better manage the finance. Yeah, they do a better job. The man is busy working. Let me manage it. It's all right. Take care of it for you. All right. So I want our men to also know, although you rule over the woman, but you don't know everything. If you knew everything, you would not need a helper. God wouldn't make a helper that is suitable for you. Suitable for you. You have to understand, I mentioned all women are prophetess. They can see things the men cannot see. They can see things sometimes because the men don't pay attention most of the time. You know, my husband, he's in the spirit. Oh yeah, he's in the spirit. Yes, I'm everywhere. I'm paying attention to everything. Yes, I let him handle this, but I'm paying attention to all the details. You know, so there are things you will be doing. You may not be able to see it from every angle, but the woman can. And if she comes to you with something, you must be willing to listen to her. Don't ever make a woman feel like she doesn't matter in a relationship. Be careful with that. You see, women, when they hold on to something or someone, they hold on. The day they let go, trust me, that's the day you see it. But it happened a long time ago. And when they talk so much about it, they stop talking, you better start investigating. Someone else is listening to them. You don't know everything. There are things a woman can see, the men cannot see. When Herod was about to, give the order for Jesus to die, he says he was not innocent. You know who had a dream? The wife. She had a dream and she said, this man is innocent. You must allow Barnabas to rot in jail. Release this man. He's innocent. Herod couldn't see it. As the man, he could not see it, but the wife did. She helped him, but he couldn't see it. So you got to be very careful with that. Reassurance, we mentioned that. You have to keep reassuring her. Sometimes it's not because they don't know it. They just want to hear it. Say it. Say something sweet. Okay, so when we come to service, we come to church, and we're worshiping God. Doesn't he know how you feel? Why you got to say, Lord, I love you? He knows that, but he takes pleasure in hearing it. You got to say it. Don't assume that she knows it. And if you're with a strong woman, a woman who knows what they're worth, don't assume that she's so strong that she cannot be vulnerable. Always be there for your woman, for your wife. Always be there. Be open and easy to talk to. Just sit down and listen. Sometimes I'm talking to my husband and I hear, it's okay. As long as he was willing to sit down and listen. That's all I care about. And he has a gift. I don't know how he does it. He'll be snoring. He's like, I said, babe, are you sleeping on me? Oh, no. You said this, you said that. I don't know how he heard it. Okay, I don't care. You heard? That's good. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. So pay attention and be easy for your woman to come and talk to. And this is how she would go somewhere else and tell her business. Just like if you're not listening to your children, they're going to talk to someone else. So if you're not hearing your wife complaints or whatever she has to say, she's going to find someone else to talk to. And there's always someone available. Yep. So you be very careful with that. Now for the women, I'm going to do this quick because of the time. For the women, the Bible says, he that finds a wife. He that finds a wife. He didn't say he that's find a girlfriend, a situation, an entanglement, or something like that. And, he didn't say that. He says a wife. Whether you're married or not, it's not marriage that makes a woman a wife. It's not marriage. You have to have the mindset of being a wife. Just as a little girl growing up, they're playing with dolls. They're acting like the mother. They already have that mindset of becoming a mom. You must have the mindset of not becoming someone's girlfriend for so long. But you have to have the mindset of a wife. Like I said, we're going to go fast because there's no time. You gotta, Oh, yes. Thank you, babe. You are welcome to eat while we are talking. Just feel free to just grab something and munch in. Start preparing yourself. As you're waiting for that groomman to come, start preparing yourself. There are some women who've been through other relationships and you're so hurt. Work on that. Work on being healed, getting healing for yourself. Work on your mind. Some of you are bitter because of things that happened before or things that you've seen your mother went through with her relationship. And that sometimes leave a scar inside of you. It leave fear inside of you. And when we get into a relationship with fear, we know what happened. We question everything. So you have to be careful. Just start working on yourself if you are not married yet. And if you are already married, you are a wife, you have to act as a wife. There are friends that need to go. They need to go. Some friends need to go. Once you are married, some friends are not good. You got to evaluate your surrounding, your environment. You have to evaluate it and get rid of what you need to get rid of. Okay? I know women and men that are not married and that give great advice. They give great advice. So it's not everyone you cut off. But there are some people, they're bad influence. Bad influence. All right? You have to have standards. A man cannot treat you any way that you don't allow him to. A man cannot treat you any way you don't allow him to treat you. You have to understand and you have to know that. You have to have your standards up. And the man is supposed to be your protector, your provider, your lover, not someone bringing you down, pulling you down, talking down on you, nothing like that. Some men, that's how they feel like they're a man. When they can scream and they can act it and say, I'm the man. If you have to tell yourself or someone you're the man, we have a problem. So a woman must have standards, okay? And also, we mentioned that earlier. Don't assume that the man knows everything or understand everything. You have to speak your mind. Be submissive. Be submissive. Being submissive is to know that I made that decision to choose this man. That means I know he's worthy enough to be my leader. I know that he's capable of leading me. Therefore, I'm going to submit unto this man. Being submissive is one of the most beautiful things. A lot of women think when they're submissive, they're weak. A lot of women think when they're submissive, they just let a man walk all over them. That is not true. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something, and I'm gonna be honest with you. And my husband's here. He can tell me if I'm lying or not. You have the power. Let's say your husband is the car. But you're the one who can tell him, go left, go right, if you're submissive. If you're submissive enough, you can make this man paint this house a color that he doesn't even like. If you're submissive, you can get him to do everything you want him to. If you're submissive. But you have to know how to be submissive. And God knows we struggle so much with that as women. That's what he asked us to do. Be submissive. He told the men, love the woman, because he knows sometimes men don't know how to do it. He says, that's what I want you to do. And he tells the woman, be submissive. If you can be submissive, I'm telling you, you have a very powerful tool in your hand. Very powerful tool in your hand. And a woman who is submissive without the fear of God, I'm telling you, he will manipulate a man. Because it's such a powerful tool. It is such a powerful tool. All right? So you have to be submissive. You have to listen more and speak less. Judge less. Listen more as a woman. Speak less and judge less. This man will come to you with a lot of probably bad habits or of other things. Okay? So you have to make sure you listen and judge less and speak less. When you speak less, you're able to hear and you're able to do something about what you hear. Okay? Now, 5 things a woman needs to look for in a relationship to determine the strength of it. The first thing is this man needs to be God-fearing. That man has to have respect for God. I know men who's not even a Christian. I didn't say this man needs to be born again. I said this man needs to be God-fearing. There are people who are not Christian. I've heard mothers said they're not in church, but they make sure their kids go to church. I know fathers who are not in church, they make sure their kids go to church. You have to be God-fearing, a God-fearing woman, a God-fearing man. That man has to be a God. It is very sexy when a man is worshiping God. When a man, oh my gosh, Jesus gracious. A woman loves to see that. That this man is submitting himself under authority. The second thing is this man have to have an earthly authority. Someone he submit under for mentorship, building, and correction. You cannot be a man and no one can talk to you. You can't be a man and no, the women have nobody to go to complain. Because there are times you're going to feel like you're right. She's going to feel like she's right. She got to go to someone and you are able to listen. So women, that men need to be, to have an earthly authority. Beside, after God fearing, have an earthly authority, be passionate. Now, this one is a tricky one. A man can tell you he loves you, but you have to look to see if this man is passionate about you. There's different type of love. If this man is not passionate about you, there's something or someone else he's passionate about. It could be his mother. Yeah. You could be in competition with the mother. It could be someone else. It could be something else. And you have to be very careful. There are men that are passionate about their job. It is great for a man to work hard. But you have to be, when you're at work, you can't wait to go home to your wife. You're talking about her everywhere you are. That's your prize. You have to be passionate about that person. You have to make sure this man is passionate about you. Pay attention in your conversation with this man or with your husband. He'll tell you what he's passionate about. It'll be about everything else but you in there. Yeah. This man needs to be responsible. This man needs to be responsible. And he needs to accept responsibility for his wrong as well. Needs to be responsible and needs to take responsibility for his wrong. All right? And this man needs to have good company. Friends. They are good friends. People that can give him a good advice. Not people that are going to say, oh, no, man, let me take you down to the strip club, man. You're going to feel better about yourself. No kidding. I had a pastor's wife. I recently mentioned that in one of our women's meetings. I was going through something. I had a pastor's wife. She said, oh, let me introduce you to something. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. I don't know what it is. She said the name. I didn't know. What is it? Hookah again? What? Hookah? Yeah. You go and sit down and then you inhale vapor. I'm like, what is this? Yeah, you just... That's what you do. What? It's hookah, right? It's called hookah. That's what she... I said, wait a minute, listen. I'm busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Listen, we never talk. We're done. I can't have you. That's not what I need at the moment. That's not what I need. What if I was weaker than that? And now after hookah's not satisfying, I start doing the little white powder. Yeah, I'm in training because I don't know. That's what you're introducing me to. And I'm going to keep going deeper and deeper. I need a woman. I need someone that can tell me, let's go in prayer. I need someone that can say, listen, I know this man of God. Let me call him and let him pray for you. That's what you need. Good company. And that's what a man need. They need good company. They are friends they had before the relationship. They are friends they had before they got married. They need to go. Cut them off. Cut them off. All right? And for the women, for a man to know that, your relationship it has strength in it. There's hope for it. You need to have a woman or look for a woman that is God-fearing as well. This is number one for both parties. God-fearing, submissive. I can't stretch this enough. Women, be submissive. It's beautiful. No man need a woman that is rude. I'm telling you, they're going to go somewhere with you and they're going to tell you, babe, let me go in. Sit in the car. I'm going to go talk to them. And you're going to say, wait. Can I go with you? No, I'm not taking long. Just wait here. That's only because you don't know how to talk in public. And they don't want to be embarrassed. Men they don't like to be embarrassed. They don't like to feel embarrassed. So you have to know in your submissiveness how to speak to others. How to be sweet. Be sweet. That's in our nature. Be sweet. A woman needs to be sweet. And you need to look for that. Look for a woman that is submissive. Okay? Sacrificial. The person have to know how to make sacrifice. I'm telling you, there are times I cook at my house. And we have other people, company that comes unexpected. And that's okay. And I'll cook and I give everyone. And everybody eat. And I don't eat. It's my choice, to be honest with you. My husband would say, babe, where's your food? Don't worry, babe. It's there. I won't take it because I want him to eat. Sacrifice. That's my choice. Sacrifice. He doesn't want that, but sacrifice. That's my choice. Okay? And that's one example. But there's many other ways that a woman needs to sacrifice. You have to be able to make sacrifice. You have to be able to make sacrifice. Okay? There are times you're going to have to sacrifice something big in your life that is valuable to you. I sacrifice some stuff. Sometimes so my husband can travel. If he needs to travel and I had plans to do certain things, I say, okay, no problem. It's okay. Sacrifice. Hospitable. Hospitable. You have to be hospitable as a woman. You have to look for a woman that is hospitable. Okay? Good company. That's for both parties. Some friends are not good. Some friends are not good for you, and you have to realize it. That's one way of knowing that you are mature. When you can realize that this friend is not good for me. She's not good influence, and you are who you hang with. So this is very, very important. All right? And the men, this is the last thing I'm going to say before I let my husband speak. The man provides the house, but the woman, the wife, creates the home. The men work hard to give you the house, but you must make it a home. Don't let it be a place where your husband, he says, babe, I'm doing overtime today. Yes, I'll see you tomorrow. And by the time he comes, you're already sleeping, just so he don't see you, because you're not making this a home. It's just hell for him. Yeah, so he avoids home. He avoids home. I wanted to make sure when my husband was spending so much time in the church, I'm like, what's going on here? Am I making this a home? I want him to be able to come home. Yes, we got to make it peaceful. Got to make it sweet. Create an atmosphere for someone to come in and say, wow, I feel peace in your home. All right? Babe?
We are out of time. I'm going to leave the few minutes left for questions. I'm going to do this very quick. If you have a question, a suggestion, anything, comments, let's go. Dominic?
Praise the Lord. I have a few questions. One, I will ask, earlier, Prophetess Shela spoke about being submissive. Can you give an example between being submissive and being naive in a relationship?
Okay, an example of being submissive and being naive. All right. Now, let's say your husband come to you, or the men come to you and say, we have kids. And he said, I'm going to be doing some stuff. I want you to stay with the kids. And you have school yourself. So now staying with the kids is going to jeopardize you from graduating or finishing school or whatever the case is. It's not okay to say, okay, babe, because you feel like you're submissive. Now, you're being naive. A real man will understand that we both need to make it somewhere in this life. We're going to sit down and see how we're going to work. We can work something out. Okay? We're going to sit down and see how we can work something out that will benefit both of us. Now, let's say something bad happened. The man made a mistake. Because you're not married yet, let me take that example. You don't have children yet, let me take that example. Let's say you are in a relationship right now. And the man made a mistake. He cheated on you. You cry, you're mad, you're angry, and then he comes, flowers, got on his knees, and he says, babe, I'm so sorry. It will never happen again. And you believe him, and you moved on. Next year by this time, he cheated again. And he does the same thing. And you forgive him. 3 years, listen. That's being naive. That's being naive. Now, sometimes it's based on one person's upbringing. The person was raised in maybe he was raised in a family where that's what his father did, or whoever was his role model, that's what they did, and he keep doing it. But you have to determine, is this something he needs help with? Or is this something that's just his nature? But while you're trying to figure this out, you don't have to be with him. He can get help without you. And if you can wait, whenever after he's helped, can continue. But if you can't, next. So you have to make the difference between being naive and being submissive. Just because, something sounds good doesn't mean, or just because you want to be submissive doesn't mean you have to accept everything that is presented to you.
Okay, my next question. Growing up, and as for a lot of women, I didn't have that good example of relationships when I was growing up with my mom. So a lot of things I do not tolerate when it comes from a man. When it comes to a man, period, I do not tolerate a lot of things because of what I've saw. So what advice would you give to a woman who has been in that situation to avoid her from being like standoffish when it comes to like wanting to get into a relationship, and to like, how can I say it? What things should we tolerate and what things we should not?
Okay, this is a very good question, and I kind of touched base on that a little bit earlier. One thing I'm going to tell you is, and this is why we have to be God-fearing people. What I said earlier was, because of things that you've experienced in life, sometimes it will cause you to be some type of way that you shouldn't be. You have these things inside of you. And before you get into a relationship, you have to make sure you fix it. Get healing for your mind, for your heart, for all these issues before you get in a relationship, because it will affect it. Now, what I can say is, whatever, like I said, you can read many books on relationship, on marriages and everything. But let me tell you, they're good advice given in those books. But you cannot base your relationship on these. Every relationship is different. All of us will have our own experience in life. No matter what your mother experienced or your siblings, whoever was around you, yours will be different. How do you know the right thing to do and the right thing not to do, what to accept and what not to accept? The first thing is you make sure that this is the person God has for you. If that's the right person, no matter what, no matter how dirty this man can do you, you will be forgiven. You will be able to handle it because God will help you to handle it. It is very tough. It can be very tough. And this is why, we wouldn't have to worry about prenup today if we first started with knowing what God wants for us. We wouldn't have to worry about that. So you have to really have a relationship with the Lord in order to know this is the person for me or this is not the person for me. And if you feel like you cannot get that answer, you seek counsel from someone who can help you to determine that. We heard the man of God recently during the revival. He did mention there are times Apostle will tell you. And I told some women, sometimes we won't say it, no matter how much you're trying to get it out of us. We'll go around the bush because, at the end of the day, it's your decision. But some things are too clear. Okay? So it's your decision. And you have to actually have that relationship with the Lord as a God-fearing woman to know what's permissible, what is acceptable and not.
Okay, next question. Take Pedro. After that, we're going to take you.
Hello, everyone. My question is regarding, I'm already married, but it's concerning guys that are in the preparation process. And you guys mentioned that in the preparation process, you have to be, have a relationship with God. I have a plan. Yeah, I have a purpose. So my question is, what about the guys that has been hurt in the past? How do they prepare what is the healing process for them, and how can they emotionally and mentally prepared for the marriage?
Most people that get hurt in relationship is because they didn't take the time into having a friend. If the person you're talking to, we're talking and we become friends and best friends and we move on, there can never be hurt in this relationship, because you will know your friend. That's the reason why every relationship, that's the way a relationship should start. You don't offer nothing but your friendship. If the person doesn't want that, they're going to walk away, that's fine. But I'm going to offer you my friendship. That's all I have to offer. I'm not looking for a girlfriend, I'm looking for a friend. And if you want to be my friend, sure. And while we're friends, we're talking and talking and talking and talking and talk. Guess what? Friend will take it to the next level, best friend. You know what best friends do? They share everything. When I met Shela, I saw her. I don't know, some people don't know the story. I used to live in North Carolina. I came here on vacation, and my friend told me there was a concert, some type of concert somewhere, and they took me there. But the church was an old church I used to play for. So I went there. I wasn't playing or anything, and I saw someone singing. And I said, "Who's that woman over there singing? Who's that girl?" Yeah. And I waited, and after everything was over, and I told my friend, "I need to speak to this girl over there." And she was talking with a bunch of other women. I called a little boy, and then when he came, I said, "You see this girl over there with that dress and things like that? Call her for me. Tell her I'm calling her." And he went to call her, and she said, "Tell him if he needs to talk to me, and he needs to come himself." Something like that. So I walked towards them, and I started talking to her, and we were talking, and I told her, "We have a lot to discuss." She said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "So much I need to talk to you about." I said, "As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to take you home, because I really need to talk to you." At this point, I already tell my friend that this girl you saw here, that's gonna be my wife. For the first time I saw the woman. And she allowed me to take her home. Now when I take her home, we're talking and talking and talking. She was very nice and everything, and I waited because she said her mom is not home yet. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna wait. I don't want you to stay here by yourself." But we stayed outside. We were talking and outside by the car, and waited until her mom finished at midnight from work and coming home. And I left. And a few days later, I had to go back home. I had a number. She had my number. You know, I called her, text her. She never responded. Every day I'm calling. I called 3-4 times a day. This girl would not return my call or my text. So I called a friend of mine in Florida. I said, "I know where she lives." I said, "Please, you're going to have to leave work right now." And I tell him what the house is. I said, "Go to that house and then give her your phone, because I need to speak to her." And my friend went to her house. I have some good friends. So my friend went to her house and knocked on the door and gave her the phone. And then I said, "Why aren't you answering my phone call?" And but she didn't want to talk. She already knows she wasn't going to talk to me after that. And when she saw my friend knock on the door, and I told her on the phone, I said, I'm going to keep this up. I have many friends. I'm going to have all of them come to your house. Don't worry. Yeah. I said, and I said, all my friends, I told her, I said, all my friends are loyal. They will come.
I was in church. I get a call from someone else's phone. I said, who's this? I thought he was a friend of mine who didn't come to church that day. I'm like, Naomi, why are you not answering my call?
Yeah, I told her, I have many friends. Somehow I'm going to get to you, no matter what. And she said, okay, I will respond to your message. And then we started texting, but we text more. And then I told her, I need to tell your parents that you're going to be my wife. She thought I was joking. And I said, send me the number and then you will see. And then she sent me her mother's number. And I called her mother. She didn't pick up. The next day I called her again, and that's when I reached her. And I said, do you know I really like your daughter? She was like, and she was laughing. I'm like, no, I'm very serious. And someday I'm going to make her my wife. And the mom was laughing. So she says, I cannot handle this. You're going to have to speak to her father. I said, where's the father? She said, the father's not here. He's in Haiti. When he comes, you're going to need to speak. I said, no worry. I will speak to the father. And since then, we started texting and talking about everything. And we had developed a habit of texting. We would text all night until 6, 7 a.m. I said, all night. We could have been on the phone. The phone is on, but we're still texting. To the point, because I was in North Carolina, when we got married, she would lay on the bed next to me, and then I'm on my phone, I'm texting, and she's texting and we're laughing. But we're not talking, we're next to each other. And we're just texting and then just laugh. And then, we're just talking to each other. We're not saying one word. And we're just texting. That's something we developed. But yes, the best way, if you become friend with the person, it's impossible for that person to break your heart in the future because you will know your friend. You will deeply know who you engage with and then how far can we go. Because by the time, before me and Shela say we're going to get married, I know this girl in and out. We spend so much time together. We're together every day. When I say every day, I mean every day. Even at work. We work together in the same place. Next to each other. So I know her very well. So there's no way that this girl could hurt me because I already know everything about her. It's not two people that's trying to be together, that's pretending, because when you don't know someone as a friend, they won't even show you how they eat. It's when you get married with them, you realize that they don't eat with forks, they only eat with hands. You understand? But if we were friends, you won't care. You will know how your friend eat. So that's the best way to do it. If anyone getting in a relationship, and if you're already broken from a previous relationship, you need to take your time to see where you messed up and to heal first. Anyone that's not healed, if you're not healing, remember what I said last time, you're going to look for a hospital. Whenever something is broken, you look for somewhere to get it fixed. And for human, we're looking for a human hospital. You're gonna look for a woman, but that woman really, that's your hospital to fix you. And people don't live in hospital. After they get healed, they leave that hospital. I've never seen someone that leave their car in the garage forever. After the car is fixed, guess what you do? You take it with you. So any broken person will look for someone to fix them. Whoever fixes you, you will never stay with them. So that's the reason the fixing part, don't ever try to fix a man or a woman. If they're broken, they need help. I mean, if you're just helping them, that's fine. But if they want to be in a relationship with you so you can help them, I'm telling you, they're not going to stay with you. Once they are fixed, they're going to move on.
And if they stay with you, it's going to be hard even if they want to leave. Because they now staying with you reason, because you've helped them. Understand? Yeah. Yeah, pity. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had someone in the back first.
I think she was here. She was here. Yeah.
No, my comment was just that you're not the average guy to see someone and know that that's your wife. Not everyone can do that.
In a relationship, if a man/woman puts money away for emergency, in secrecy, because they know their husband might be a spendthrift, wife might be a spendthrift, and they want to secure stuff, is this wrong?
No, not at all. That's a very good thing. As a matter of fact, I told my wife to do that. I said, don't let me know where you put money. Just hide money from me. Don't let me know. It's good to do that and actually do that myself. And I told my wife to do the same thing. You understand? And it's very good because let's say something happened and we need money. You can actually help. You can actually do something about it. But if you tell them when there's small problems, they're going to say, where's the money you said you have? So you don't say nothing about it. You just leave it like that.
So I want to say 15 years ago when I just met my husband, he had put away some money. I didn't know about it. And I found it one day. And we were not knowledgeable like now. And so I thought this was so wrong. And I could remember maybe if I needed something, maybe not important, but he said we didn't have money. And he didn't know that it was okay for him to do this either and not tell me. And when I found it, he said, it is yours. It was like $2,000. So I took it and took it all.
And you spend it.
Only on me.
See? See, that's wrong. That's wrong. But he was hiding it for you. See, everyone, I'm going to say this to everyone. Every married couple should have 3 accounts. I mean, at least 3 accounts. A joint account to pay the bills. And a separate account each. Your separate accounts, that's maybe you're spending money. And if you want to have a saving, call it a saving account, you can have a saving as well. But that saving, don't tell your spouse about it. Just leave it like that. Your personal account, don't tell them about it, what you have in it. The only thing they need to know, we have a joint account. That's where we put our money to do everything. Guess what? If something goes wrong, I don't even need to know the saving, but if things really bad, you will come and say, hey, I have this, I have that, let's do this, let's do that. You understand? So that's the reason the saving is there, to help in a certain situation, because we never know what's going to happen or what can happen. So the personal account, I don't know my wife's personal account. I don't know what's in it. I don't need to know. And I don't know what she's saving. If she's saving, what is supposed to be, what's in there either. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. If we want to have one account, all the money is supposed to be in it. I'm telling you, money, once you see money, you have problem for it. Once you see it, you have problem for it. When you could have done something less with less, but when you see more, you want to go higher, do more. So it's better some of your savings, some people are saving something somewhere, and when you see less, you're going to fight to make it work. So that's the reason you do it like this. It's better for everyone. I think Sister Valerie was there first. And after Sister Valerie, I think I saw... was there first? Okay, Valerie, Mrs. White, and then Dominic.
Okay, so I read up there that women were supposed to prepare to be in a marriage. And, sometimes the emphasis is, I'm sorry, guys, my voice. The emphasis is on women preparing themselves to be wives. Are we to assume that there's that preparation as well for men, as like someone who's pouring into them, showing them and teaching them? Because most of us did not grow up seeing that 2 parents in a house, how you're supposed to. And even if you grew up with that, you still don't know. Are we to people now who are in the courting, game? Are we to assume that those men are also getting that preparation, that readiness?
All right, let me say this to everyone. The best preparation you can have, it calls counseling. Everyone in a relationship needs counseling, whether you're married or not. And that's something most people don't believe in, and that's one of the biggest problems. I've been counseling a few people. They're not Haitian, they're American, for more than a year, and they're getting married very soon. The whole year they keep calling. They want counseling every week. Not because they have issues. They don't have no problems whatsoever, but they want counseling before they get married. A whole year before they get married. Me doing the counseling for a whole year, I didn't know the value of it until I started doing it. Do you know the problem we solved during that year? We solved a lifetime problem. So many issues that could have been presented in the marriage, but yet they know each other for a long time. But during the counseling, the subject, the things we talk about, and that opened doors for them to talk, they say, oh my God, so I didn't know you don't like this. I didn't know this. And that's when they get to know each other. And we talk about certain things. And now, truly, they're confident that they want to get married. Because really, they fully understand one another. I'm telling you, counseling is a big thing. If you truly, you have someone, you didn't get married, or even if you are married, there's a time for that. And you'll be surprised how much things a person hold on. Not because they choose to, indirectly. By habit, by nature, you just live in life, and you don't want to bother nobody, and you just hold on to things. Things that you're going to blow up 5 years later. 5 years that's going to mess up your marriage. That's going to shake your relationship. But doing counseling, and then you bring all these things out, and you deal with it, and guess what? Everyone is empty. There's nothing to say when you go home except for being happy and talk to each other. There's nothing else. And that's one way to clear the air. I'm telling you, it's hard for two people to talk to each other. Because there's a selfish part of us that want everyone to want to be heard. And we all are speaking different languages, but we want. So there's a need for someone to interpret for the two of you. That's all the counselor does. Interpret for the two of you. Cause one to listen to the other. And that's when you realize, oh wow, oh that's what you were saying. Oh, now I get it. Simple. And a lot of relationship, people get divorced for small stuff. And all they need is just a few counseling and to talk to each other, to voice what they were saying for years. And that's all they needed. But because they don't do that, and they destroy a whole relationship for no reason. And that goes for everyone. It is very important. I went to a counselor with my wife one time. In my mind, I said, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm a strong-minded person. I help people, and I understand how someone can play with my mind. And I made up my mind not to say a word. When we got there, and then we filled a form, and when the guy was talking, he just asking questions. He said, you wrote this thing down? I said, yes. And then he said, okay, what this mean? I didn't want to say nothing. So I'm not going to talk. Do you know, in just a little thing he was saying, that kind of makes sense in my mind. I'm like, no, that's not what. And I started to explain. I was deep in conversation where I went knowing that I was there. I'm like, how can a person do this to me? And later on, I realized it's good for me. It was good for me. Because I had to explain myself, and without explaining myself, and I realized, Shela hear me now? She understand what I was saying, and based on someone that asked the question a certain way, and that helped me to bring my point across. I'm like, wow, this thing is good. And it's very helpful for anyone, married or not. You're in a relationship, that's very important. So I hope we answer that question. Let's go to, I don't know if you're going to say anything. Okay. This is right.
My question is, you said the top Mama Sheila says about compromising, but the topic says that without compromising. But she said that you can compromise. Now my question is, Adam and Eve, the Bible says that both of them, he said, be fruitful and multiply. In other words, have enough sex. So I'm saying that the prophet said the other night, that we must put away certain things, because it's not godly. Certain things that this is for both married and those that are trying to get married. So the question is, as he says, that the sex toys that some of us have, I said us because I am married. I don't have no sex toys. But what I'm saying, I have to put myself in the bracket because I'm married. No, I've never in my life for 40 odd years hear it like this in a church. So I said to myself, that is one of the reasons why I joined this ministry. The transparency. Because not many pastors or bishops disclose certain things that we are suffering from. Many women, many brethren will not say it. But many times when they come to the altar, that is where they fall short. And when it is put out like that, I believe that in everything that we do, as you says, we have to be God-fearing and we have to be godly. So if we are supposed to put away our toys and not to do certain things, as the people that are courting, and they say, Christians, they say that they may not penetrate each other, but they rub on each other, so that's not sex. No, pastor, apostle, that's one of the things that is baffling me. Whether they penetrate or not, isn't this a still sin? Sir?
Okay, the answer is simple. Matthew chapter 5. Jesus said, they used to say, if you touch, you sin. And I say, if you think about it, just think about it, you're already sinning. So you don't even have to get to the level of penetration. As long as you start thinking or you plan to do something, it's already there according to God. You're already sinning according to God. So in other words, God wants us to stop this thing not when we get there. Even before the idea is trying to come in our mind. That's where the battle we're supposed to fight. No, in the name of Jesus, I would not think about this. I would not do this. That's where God wants us to fight it. Not even to get close to it. In the mind. That's where we're supposed to stop this thing. And if we were smart enough to understand what Scripture is telling us, it tells you if I start here and fight here, I would never get close to the person. The problem is because we don't fight our mind to stop it here. If we stop it here, it's not when you get to the person saying, I'm going to try to pray, I'm not going to do this, oh Lord, help me. No, there's no Lord to help you there. Yeah, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. So it's in the mind we're supposed to stop it. And I understand what you're saying. The coding now is different from back then. How the people take it. They say things change. And as a matter of fact, back then, it's the parents that ask the other parents, for the daughter, and for them to be able to talk, and not even talking. If they're gonna talk, it has to be during the days inside of the house with the parent sitting there and listen to them, watching them talk. Yeah, that's how it used to be. A parent sitting there and watching the two of you talk, and you can even sit close to the person or hold hands of that person. Because that's not yours yet. Was it good? Yes. There was less problem, and less people that are pregnant, less issues than we have now. But young people now, I mean, everybody's on vacation. Everybody do whatever they want. You understand?
And these are great pointers. And somebody mentioned you shouldn't even put yourself in this position. I think sometimes we don't understand the power of temptation. We don't understand, and even Apostle Paul mentioned, he says, be careful not to think that you're so strong that you cannot fall. A lot of people who fall with women or women who fall with men, it's not because they had the intention at all. I've studied it. God showed it to me. I understood it. They had no intention. But what happened is they did not consider the power of temptation. You have to be able to not put yourself in a position where you're going to feel so tempted. I had a young couple. They were just courting each other. And one of them told me, oh, we're going to go to such and such place to meet his mother. Because the mom cannot come to the country. The mom cannot come here. So she would love to meet her, and they really wanted, and he really wanted to take her. And I sat with them and I said, that's a great idea. I said, now, y'all gonna be in different room, hotel room? No, it's gonna be the same. I said, are you gonna be to resist? I said, are you going to be able to resist? I believe so. I said, so what are you guys doing right now to avoid being in a place alone, to avoid certain things from happening? And she answered me. She said, both of them were there. And she said, well, we kind of avoid doing this and doing that, blah, blah, blah. And I said, so now you are avoiding here. You've never been placed in a position where you're going to be enclosed in a place with the person for this whole time. How are you going to handle that? Because the pressure is going to come. And that's why we have to be very careful what we think we can handle. We don't know ourselves for real. We do have the right mindset. We do have the right ideas, but we can't really handle temptation. So therefore, you have to avoid doing certain things and being in some places. And sometimes we do put ourselves in some position that are very dangerous and that cause certain things to take place. Rubbing, while you're rubbing, the person is discharging because things happened. I'm so serious. Things happen for both, and that can lead to other things. We're not talking to kids here. We're talking to grown-ups. So you have to be very, very careful, courting or not, whatever they call it now. I don't know.
I'm going to say something here, and I want everybody to understand this. Wherever there's discharge, whether it's mentally, physically, it's through sex, and if it wasn't with a natural person, it is with a spirit. You release, whatever you release, claimed by somebody. If it's not a person that caused you, a spirit that caused it, claim whatever you release for itself. And believe it or not, your problem is not too far away from what you're releasing. Let me say it like this. Spiritually, someone that is in contact with a person, if you're physically you're not in touch with the person and things are happening to you, there's a force that causes it to happen. There's a spirit that causes it to happen. So in another word, let's say you're doing phone sex or whatever sex you're doing, or robbing or whatever, because the physical person is not doing it for you, then there's a force that in between the two of you that's helping that person to make things happen for you. And that force, after the thing is released, it takes it. naturally, but spiritually. And that's where your problems are. Let me explain a fact to you. I had helped someone like this. According to him, for his entire life, he'd never touched a woman. And he was in line. He'd never been with a woman. And according to him, he's waiting for marriage. He's waiting for marriage, and until he is married, he will not touch a woman. But guess what God revealed? That the man is already been married. He's married, that's why he haven't touched a woman. The Spirit would not allow him to touch a woman. Listen carefully, the Spirit will never allow him to touch a woman because he's married. Every time on his bed, he's releasing. Things are releasing left to right because he is married. And you want to hear the worst part about it? He got married. Wife left. You know why the wife left? Because everything still happened the same way, but not with the wife.
She don't get nothing.
Not with the wife. It couldn't happen with the wife because things were still happening because there's a spirit he married to. And that caused the wife to get one day said, I'm tired of this thing, and just walk away. So just because someone haven't penetrated you, this haven't happened, and we're just playing and I'm strong, I'm telling you, you're probably in a worse position than you didn't even think about.
Yeah, we have people, Apostle would say, okay, I can't allow you to go somewhere like this. Let's get married. Let's do this. He's not going to give you the how do you call it? The advice to go somewhere, and you're going to stay in a hotel room with the person for days, and you think nothing gonna, we're going to pray together. Any other question? Oh, Sister Linda.
Good evening. I'm asking a question. So if, of course I'm asking a question. So if two people are courting, how would one know, how would the other know if this is someone that they should continue speaking to? Like, what's the confirmation that they should look for? What's the sign that they should look for to know to keep moving forward in this courting stage with the person?
Once you go to the right process as being a friend, you're with your best friend, you realize that that friend can be a good best friend, can be a good wife, and you start falling for your best friend, you would know. And some people are waiting for a voice to tell them. Not everybody hear a voice. And I don't know how to stretch this. You can be in prayer all day, all night for the rest of your life. You may not hear a voice. You may not have a dream. Yes, can God do it like this? Yes, he does it for some people. Just like my brother mentioned, when I saw my wife, I know that it was my wife, but not everybody would see it that way. That's the reason the right process for all of us, friendship. And when you realize that friendship, when you wait the friendship, and you realize this woman is not just my friend. I can live without her. She can become a good wife as well. And that's when you make the move forward. Because now you know, your heart knows for a fact that's a wife. When you look at her, she's not a problem. She's not problematic. And when you see the man, you realize, man, if I have this person in my life, that's all I need, because you already know him. You see what he's capable of, what he can do. You know when he's upset. You know everything. When you wait all the bad you know about him and the good you know, and you realize the good outweigh the bad, then you can start praying and say, Lord, maybe I should date him. Maybe I should continue. Lord, is that the right person? Is that the right move now? You can start praying that prayer now. When you start seeing feelings are coming out, you can start praying that prayer because you know that friend, you know him for a fact, you understand everything about him. And I'm telling you, by that moment, you may have dreams, people are going to start talking to you and start telling you, oh, I'm seeing you getting married very soon, because of the position that you're at. Believe it or not, most word that comes to you because of the position you're at. most prophecy, most word that come to you, for example, I'm facing the door. Because of my position, a word will come to me and say, the Lord said you're going to go through a door. The only reason the Lord is saying this is because I'm already facing this way. So word will come to you. Ask anybody, before they receive a prophecy, they're going to have a child. The sense, something in them, make them feel that, or they already been doing it already, all type of stuff to have children. And they just in denial until someone come and mention it. Oh, I saw you have a baby. But every part of them already know that they are in position for that. The word will come when you're in position for it. If you're not, it's not going to come to you. Unless God want to give you a warning. Go ahead.
So when it comes to maturity in terms of women, we mature faster than men, correct? Would that be, can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Would that go for spiritually as well? So if we are pushing in God and we are doing the friendship thing with someone, if it is from God, would they mature, should they be spiritually more mature than you as a woman if you're pushing in God already at that level? Or is it possible for that person to progress in their own time on the journey of friendship? Does my question make sense?
Say it again. I wanna understand.
So women mature faster than men, and we're all on our own journey. So if it is someone that you're doing the friendship thing with, being intentional friends and just growing, in your own lanes, and us as women, if we're more mature, does it go for spiritually as well? And in time, as the friendship is progressing, would the potential person that we're interested in, would they mature along the journey as well spiritually, or should spiritual maturity be something that they already have?
I think I understand the question. Yes, women, they're more mature than men, and most likely that's probably why you'll always see. And that's not fact. That's not how it's supposed to be. I'm not saying that's how it's supposed to be. It's a fact. But most of the time, you will see a man is older than the woman. Most of the time. Why? Because even the man is older than the woman is actually older than him, believe it or not. Because women are more mature. So spiritually, it may not be the same thing. Spiritually, it's the one that's pushing is more mature. Someone can be 9 years old and more mature than all of us combined together. So the two, one can be more advanced than the other spiritually, but when they get together, it is the job of the two of you to push one another and to pull the other person to get to the level. Because if you don't pull someone up, they'll pull you down. That's how it works spiritually. Let's say the wife is the one that prays a lot. She better pull her husband up. If she doesn't do it, the husband will pull her down. So that's how it works. So one need to help the other spiritually to get to the level that they need to be. And will they ever get to the same level? May not be, but they're going to be close. Spiritually, they have to be close. And I'm going to tell you this. If my wife was not close to me in the level that I am spiritually, she probably would run in the room every night. She would not sleep in the same room as me. She would not stay in the room. She would be scared. Even though there are things she's scared of. There are things I said, I mentioned, she said, no. You understand? If she wasn't in that level for her, because physically, there are certain things the physical body, if you're not in the level, cannot handle it. Your body itself, you start feeling in your body you need to run. Yeah, the body tells you, man, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm feeling something here, and then you feel scared everything going to happen. You're going to get up and leave this room. I'm telling you. Some of you probably, if you were sleeping in the same room as me, See if you would stay. You would just get up and run and want to run, leave this place. But now imagine I had a wife that's at the same level. What am I going to do? You understand? So there's a big problem there. Now she probably would say, I have to leave this man because I don't understand. I wasn't married in the spirit. I married a man. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in this thing, so let me find my way. You find your way. Go ahead.
It's been weird, but Sister Dominique, there might be a moment where the woman is more mature, like Apostle says. It's whoever's pushing, because in the realm of the spirit, it's not I'm older than you or this and that. It's whoever's pushing. At the same time, if for some reason the woman happens to be more mature spiritually than the men, you cannot, if the men cannot find Genesis chapter 2, and you're like, oh my gosh, you can't find Genesis chapter 2, it's right there at the beginning. Oh, babe, you have to push him and encourage him with humility and love. That's what's called submission. Although you may know, but then you're not going to rule at the moment. He still rule. But you have to know how to help him. When it's time for prayer, and you see he's not spending time in prayer or the word, you have to know how to speak to him and say, babe, I feel this. Or, I feel like we should spend more time in prayer, babe. Babe, I feel like something's coming and, I feel like God is calling us closer to him. There's a way to speak so that the man does not feel like, oh, you want to be the boss now? Or you want to tell me what to do? Because it's in his nature to be the one telling you what to do and how to do it. But if for some reason, because not all of us have the same background when it comes to Christianity. So some people were raised in church, some were not raised in church. And if he happens to be the man who was not raised in church and you know more than him, you still have to really use, wisdom on how to help this man to grow in the Lord.
Part 2 to my question, and thank you for answering because that makes more sense to me now. So, as you're on the friendship journey, right? And you tell the man, I have nothing to offer you except friendship. I'm quoting Apostle because I did say that to someone, and then the conversation was over. Thank you, Apostle. Thank you so much, Apostle. You saved me from heartbreak. So, after I say that, what if you happen to find the person attractive? Not like in a sexual way where you're fantasizing, but you're just like, wow, like he's handsome or she's pretty. Is it okay to acknowledge that you find your friend attractive? Or am I doing the friendship wrong?
Yes, it is okay to find a person attractive. You're not blind. So, but the thing is, you don't need to go voice it to him, to say anything at all. Just leave it as that, and to go to the process. See, the problem is because of the system, and I explained this before in Bible study. The system of this world forces us to do things quick. We will not be hurry in everything. The microwave system. So we want to do things so fast. I can't wait. I've been friends with so-and-so for 2 weeks. Can I date now? Take your time into knowing the person. And even if you feel like there's certain feelings that's coming out, but don't show it. You don't show it, you just keep talking and just to listen to the person to see where they're at. And as a woman, you have that ability to hold on to your feelings more than the man. And even if the man comes with certain thing, tell him, remember we were friends, even when you feel the same thing as well. You don't allow them to know that. And just so you can get to the process of getting to know them. But the minute that you give them hope, there are things you will never know about them. Because they're not going to tell you certain things as a girlfriend, but as a friend, there are things they'll tell you everything. So you must go through the process.
Thank you.
I know you were here, but let me take her in after that.
Apostle, I have a part 1 and a part 2 question. How many times can one person date a person in a year?
Say it again.
How many times can one person date a person in a year? Yes.
One person, the same person?
No, you keep skipping from one.
See, that's the problem. You're going to date 10,000 people if you don't do it the right way. That's the reason the right way is the friendship way. If you go in the friendship way, you're not going to go to 10,000. Guess what? You just had a friend and you realize it's not going to work. Let's keep it as friend. You understand? No one can say you are dating anybody because that's still your friend. We still talk. If they don't want to talk to you, that's them now. So now you can move on. You know, the friend is talking to you. Well, we're friend. We're just friend, and that's it. And if it's not going to work again, guess what? We are just friends. We're not trying to be anything more than friends. If you realize that person, that's not the one. We're just friends. Let's just keep it as friend. There's no problem with that. So, but now, if you skip in the friendship part, you're going to be dating. Man, that makes you look bad. Because you were dating this one last week, and it's not the one now. And 2 weeks later, you're dating this one. It's not the one. And then now you get to too many people. Now you start getting the cousins. That was cousins of so-and-so you did 2 months ago. That's cousins of so-and-so. It's not making no sense. So that's the reason the friendship way will always help. So it's not a problem if you friend with this one and you friend with the cousins. That's not a problem. And guess what? The relationship may work with the cousin and not with this one.
And sometimes, you know, hold on, Sister Val. Sometimes, more like women, I'm going to say, you know, they may say, okay, we're going to do the friend thing, but in their mind, they're more than friends. They're asking for more than friendship stuff. You know, like if we're just friends, there are things you're not supposed to ask for. You know, the men will not provide them. We're friends. You know, so there are things they're not going to provide. So even in your mind, you're not supposed to take it any further. I've asked a young lady this question. I said, okay, you're going to try to get to know the person. You're going to stay as friend. I said, okay, let's say you go past the friend level. Now you become best friend. And then you realize, that's not him. Or he realized that's not her. Now, are you going to be mad? When you see that person, how are you going to feel? Remember, a lot of women react and they feel angry or you use me. But remember, the relationship was in your mind. You were only friends. And a lot of us need to remember that too, that we can't take it further even in our mind.
Okay, First Lady. Part 2. And if being hurt and several times, what should I do to fix this problem? Then I have change of heart and want to stop talking to person.
Help me understand again.
Okay, part 2. After you've been dating a much different person for the year, right? And if being hurt on several occasions, what should I do to fix this problem? Then I have a change of heart. I don't want to date anybody, but still I'm lusting and all of those things. Looking at another person, man, or looking at another person, wife.
Okay.
And all of that. What should that confused person do?
Now, I've heard Apostle mention this to many people before. If you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's not working, it is time for you to stop and find someone who can help you. Because obviously, the lenses you're looking through are not the right ones. So you might need a new pair or a new set of eyes to help you look. You understand? Because I'm always taking those decisions. I'm always making them I. Now it's time for I to stop. Let's seek for help from someone else who is able to help us make those decisions. And we have to remember to be very careful with jumping from one person to another person, because these are called what? Rebound? Yes, you're gonna need to go to, and this is what I see that problem in a lot of women. They can't stay by themselves, and it's a problem. And sometimes God is trying to teach you that you must be able to live by yourself, be okay with yourself, love yourself first, and then you can get someone else to love you. So if you keep going and going, now this one leave you, for you to be all right, you need someone else. You can't stay by yourself. You need someone else to talk, someone else to make you feel good and this and that. You're gonna keep going to rebound. They're gonna accept you in a basketball team.
Let me tell you something. An advice I give to a friend of mine one time. Every woman he did always leave him. And he told me he was ready to get married. And I said, what happened? It was always the same story. That was a long time ago. And I said, I'm going to pick a woman for you. He thought I was joking. And then I said, show me your type of women.
He used to hook people up.
And then he was showing me the same type of, it wasn't like that. So he showed me the same type of women. Everyone he showed me, I'm like, the same one, the same. It's like a different person, the same character, the same personality, the same thing. Yeah, same department. And then I told him, I see your problem. So why you pick this type of women? He says, I just don't. I said, they are not your type. I said, do you trust me? And then he said, yeah. I said, I'm going to pick a woman, you're not going to like her, but she's going to do you good. You know, I picked a woman for him. I said, this is your type. I know you very well, and I know her. You know, until today, they've been married. He got married way before me. 15-something years now. Still married. Have many children together. Because he's looking for something that's out of his league. Something that doesn't fit him. And most people, they have that mindset, that's what I like, that's what I like, that's what I like. That's not what you like. That's what you think you like. And if you're going to keep choosing the same thing, you're making the same mistake. It's time to stop unless someone else did something. I did something with Pastor Ben. Someone was telling me that every business they do, they fail. I said, it's time you stop doing business. I said, okay. I said, then what do I do? I said, ask someone, what should you do in your business? And I connected to Ben. I asked Pastor Ben. I said, Ben, tell them what to do in business. You know why? Because if your personal decision are failing you, find someone that's making it and then ask them. Say, what would you do in this? And then follow them even when you don't agree with it. You understand? You follow someone that's making it, you'll make it as well. And I do the same principle for myself. There are things I don't make decisions on them. Because I know if I do, I'm going to make the wrong decision. I'll ask someone, what would you do in this? And they say this. I know I don't agree with what they say, but I know what I agree with, it's not going to work anyway. So I'll do it anyway. And it's not work. So there's a lot of women like this. They always pick the wrong man. What they think they like is the problem. They like bad boys.
Apostle, what type of counseling would I say they would get after being spoken to and so many counseling sessions?
What type of?
Is any counseling can help them at that time?
Oh, if
being there so vulnerable.
Oh yes, it still can help them. Because, can you repeat the question? I just want to make sure I get it clear.
The confused person, can any counseling at all can help them?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. After a lot of talk and to help them to see clearer, to cause them to see a different angle than what they've been looking for.
Even if they have a change of heart for not dating anybody, they don't want to stay by themselves. What happened to them then?
If they want to stay by themselves, then they're really more confused. Because if you wanted to be with someone now, you don't want to be with someone, then there's a real problem. Something caused you to feel this way. Then you really need help to know what you really want to do. The help will show you that that's not what you really want to do. But because it wasn't working, you settle for something else. But once you get help, and then now you're doing things the right way, and you won't mind to do it again, to give it another try.
Thank you, Apostle.
In God's timing, He makes all things beautiful. There are people we know, even in this church, that said that's it. They got married, they're in a bad marriage, and they don't want to get married again, or whatever the case is. And I remember sitting with one of them, and I said, in God's timing, all things beautiful. And after some years, she's healed now and everything, and here comes Mr. Right. Oh my goodness, she's happy.
Yes, Papa. Many questions ago, you mentioned the word discharge. Just to make sure, was that in reference to orgasm, or if not, how do we even stop it from leaking in the first place? Because
How do you stop it from leaking?
in the first place, because
Put a cap on it? I'm just kidding.
All right. Let's say it like this. Let's be honest. We don't have children here. The licking. Listen. The first part, the licking part, it's not a baby. It's nothing. It's not the baby. It's when the person actually release. That's the seed. The first part cannot get nobody pregnant.
dangerous.
It wasn't that. It was mixed. It has to be mixed. Some people are
That's
weak.
what he said.
They're mixed. It's mixed. But if it's not mixed, it cannot get you pregnant. The first part it's a part that shows that the person is ready. You're into something, and it shows that. That's all. Pastor Joel, you're not married. How do you know these things? So it's the second part. That's what we're referring to. And please understand, and God does everything His way for a reason. Let's say you courting a person, and for some reason, while we're talking, and the first part, it started happening. You know what that tells you? It's time to go home. Run. It's time to get off the phone as quick as possible. You understand? Because you're putting yourself in a position you don't want to be. Am I right? It's a sign. You have to learn to understand signs. Spiritual people understand signs very well. There are things you see, you know that's a sign, and you have to run.
You got to run like possible. Joseph. Run.
Don't know what type of sign Joseph saw. But anyway, someone back there had a question. Who was there first?
I do. So, I didn't know there were levels to this friendship thing. It's basic to a lot of people, but it's not to me. It's, very unknown to me. So let's say I were to, we're not saying that I am, but I were to becomes friend with someone. And throughout that friendship, how many levels are we talking about before, you're like, please put it in the lamest term possible, because you're talking to a novice.
Okay. Have you ever had a best friend before?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the level we're talking about.
She's a woman. So.
That it's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's a best friend. That's what we're talking about. A friend, there's no benefits, there's nothing in it.
So no holding hands, no.
No, we're talking about friend. You said a woman, right?
My best friend.
Okay, just like that woman, think about the men in that same level. Whereas your friend, for some reason, and you were to take a shower, your friend was there, you're not thinking about nothing. That's your friend. That's the friendship we're talking about, real friendship. You understand? Real friendship. If you can push it to that level of a real friendship, then it can become something strong, and that no one can divide this thing.
Is there not a fear? I'm sorry. I'm just going to come on and ask. Is there not a fear that that person will always stay
In the
in
friend
that
zone?
friend zone, because there are some of us who can really compartmentalize to
know-
leave people in the friend zone.
You know why men stay in the friend zone? Because they're afraid to lose you, and some stay there, waiting for you to make a move, for them to see a sign that they can ask for something more. If the man see a sign that he can ask for something more, he will ask for more. Every man that's a friend with a woman stay in the friend zone, not every man, most men, because that's where you put them. But if you allow them for more, they're going to go for more. You understand? Do you get that? Any men, they are your friend. And some they don't push because they don't want to upset you and they like your friendship. It's okay. That's the only reason they tolerate it. But the minute you allow them for more, and I'm telling you, before you close your mouth, more was already happening.
Can I ask one last question to that? So, as my friend, we go out to eat, we go out on vacation. Can I do all of that with that friend as well?
I want you to think about it. I want you to think about what you're saying here.
I am thinking about it. What do you mean a kid go on vacation? So how do you get?
On vacation, so
We're talking about separate rooms. We're talking about all of that. We're not. We're saying something very platonic. We're not.
Okay.
I'm not talking about like a why or.
Even so, there's a big difference between a male and a female. That get into a car and we're gonna go on vacation together. Even when that male, if it's not your brother, it's your cousin, you feel weird about it. Am I right? That's your even if it's your cousin, you feel weird going somewhere with your cousin, although we're gonna sleep in different rooms. That you don't want someone to feel like, oh, there's something going on with those two cousins. Even if it's your cousin. So think about it. So if it's a male, there has to be certain limits.
Yeah. Unless he or she.
Hello. Okay, so I just want clarity because we're making a big emphasis on the friendship and best friend stage before moving to the next level. So let's say they've moved on into marriage now, because at the beginning, the PowerPoint said just because you have a past history with him or her doesn't mean you have a future with him or her. Because sometimes people get into a relationship because they're best friends and that's all they have. Which is why, some people stay longer than they're supposed to because of that friendship. So my question is, do marriages expire, and how do you know that that's all that you have? Is that history and that, oh, that's my best friend, but there's no bearing fruit. It's just friends. Does that make sense?
I think I see where you want to go with it. If the person is we just friend, and we have great past together as friends and things like that, that's the only reason I'm going to keep this relationship. That's a strong reason to keep that relationship. If the friendship is not broken, if there's nothing wrong with the friendship. Because if there's nothing wrong with the friendship, the man as a friend, you realize he's protecting you as a friend. You realize he wants you to better yourself as a friend. You realize he wants to do better things for you as a friend. Then that's a good thing. But if there's something wrong within the friendship, that's going to be a sign. But I want you to look into it. You said just because they're friends, they cannot be together. Is there a possibility for this? Yes. There's a possibility that two people, they are friends, and they may not be together, but there's going to be reasons that cause this. It has to be strong reasons. Something very strong based on who she had dated before, and because he knows him and he knows the guy, and she knows this woman, and that was her best friend. There has to be something strong that caused two people that call themselves best friend for them not to be together. Think about it. But yet, two people can say we're in love and we cannot be together. That's possible. But best friend, the reason we're best friend because we think alike. Because we have a similarity together. That alone is everything. But just because you're in love with so and so doesn't mean we can be together. You can be in love with somebody crazy, but all the ads show you cannot be with that person. But if we are best friend, what are the ads? Think about it. It has to be something strong. Maybe she's a second cousin. Something, it has to be something very strong that would cause you two not to be together if it's true friend. And anyone can think about it. Give me a real reason why two best friends cannot be together. It has to be something really strong that caused them not to be able to date together. Because that's the principle of life. That's how it works. I think we're out of time right now. And we have service in the morning. Who's that? Go ahead. Last question.
The Facebook question is, how do you know if God sent you someone?
Sometimes you don't know. Because not everybody have that dream. Not everybody receive a prophecy. Like Papa Grant prophesied. Not everybody receives those type of prophecy. Although it will feel good to receive it, but it doesn't happen like that. And believe it or not, it doesn't happen like that every day, even if Papa Grant was there. It's one in a blue moon for one person or two people. And believe it or not, God has reasons why he does it. Strong reason why he would do it that way. See, most genuine way that things happen, it has to happen in the natural. And like I said, we all understand it by now with the friendship part. That's the best way you can test something and you will know for a fact. And later on you can pray to God. When you realize this man, you're falling for him. This woman, you're falling for her. You can pray to God and ask God for grace to make this thing work, to help you guys to be connected, not in the friend level, but in the higher level. So to know that, to look at the person and to know that's the person God sent for you, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. Just like Ben, when he saw his wife, he knew that was the woman. We invite the guy to a church, and then he come after service. The man come and tell me that he saw someone he likes, and he wanted to talk to her and everything. I'm like, are you serious? And he said that's gonna be his wife. But not everybody would know that. Don't go based on someone's story and to determine that's how you're gonna do it. It's not gonna work like that. But guess what? You may choose to go in the simple way as being friend, and God will reveal it to you or to someone else. Who knows? God is God. We cannot discern his ways or his will. So go ahead.
All right. Hopefully we'll do something more in the future and all the questions will be answered. But it was great having all of you. Thank you for sitting and listening. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your questions. And everywhere you are, every time you go somewhere, every knowledge you acquire, you know that God has a plan. There's a reason for it. So just relationship can be beautiful. Marriage can be beautiful. I know you hear so many negativity, but let yours be an example. Let yours be different. Let it be a relationship that is led by the Spirit of God. Let God be the center of your relationship. Let God be the center of your marriage. Fight. Pray. Prayer answers to everything. So trust God in your relationship, not only when you need money or something else, but your relationship. Trust God to if you know this is the person, trust God to make things work as well. Nobody's perfect. You're not. He's not. So at the end of the day, fight and work hard. Problem will come. You cannot avoid these things. Hardship will come. You know, things will come that will make you question your partner. A lot will happen. And these are called tests. These are called fire. And that's how you know. That's how you know. For those who says, when the Bible says, okay, in the midst of the fire, I will be with you. What do you call the fire? Are you waiting for a flame? These are fire. Your marriage, things that happen. So it's going to happen. So at the end of the day, trust God to go through it with you. And it's after the test, after the fire, sometimes most of you will know, this man was made for me. This woman was made for me. God bless you. We pray to see you tomorrow for service. Thank you for having us.